I remember watching MTV, Reese's Pieces, and DT, and Billie Jean on the radio. Friday nights at the arcade, playing all my favorite games, and take me back to the good old days, when all we ever did was dream big and just be kids. Super Mario and G.I. Joe, I never wanna let it go. I never wanna let it go. Pack all my friends in the DeLorean, go back in time and on a journey again, like Indiana Jones. I never wanna let it go.
Whoa, welcome everybody. Thank you. A little huge shout out to Johnny for that intro. He worked hard on that for me to give me something that is a little bit more personalized to myself. But I wanted to give people an opportunity to kind of get in here, get started, right? So I figured what better way than to maybe talk a little bit about who I am, right? Everybody knows me for coming on and being able to co-host with Johnny for his show, and we did some cool Goonies stuff, right? I mean, I'm still repping the Goonies shirt that I got from my boy Dave. But also, I wanted to talk a little bit about kind of who I am and where I come from when it comes to a lot of this kind of stuff. I won't go as far back as 1979, April 9th, when I was emancipated from my mother's vagina. I'm not going to get that far back. But yes, it all started in 1979 when I was born. Ever since then, I have been that guy that has been just super 80s retro from the beginning and never left me. It just kind of kept going. On top of that, my childhood was as goony as it could get. I was that guy that I used to say all my S's like this, and I used to talk too fast, and I was that nerdy kid that always tried to hide it, like most of us did. But now we have a platform, right? We have people that are going back and they're actually like, they want to be Goonies, they want to be nerds, and they want to be geeks. And I think it's fun to be able to be who we are, right? In the long run. And this retro show is for all of us to be able to not only watch a podcast of things that we're interested in, but to be able to jump in, talk about it, comment on it, ask questions about it. Tonight we got Mark Marshall coming on again. This is going to be his last appearance for a while. He's got a lot of other things to do. He's a busy man. Okay, so I'm not trying to take up too much of his time, but I love the fact that he's going to come on again, and I want to just get an opportunity to talk normal with him, right? Just talk about some of the other movies he did, not just Goonies stuff, right? And also see what his ventures are, see what else he's doing, and maybe talk a little bit about his personal life if he wants. If not, then we can talk about something totally different. Also, we got kind of a new thing that I was thinking of, only just because of me personally. I got some mail. And I wanted to throw it out there for people that sent me some things in the mail that I could open them up, right? I kind of took some pictures pre-hand so that way Johnny could put them up there so you could see them. But for me, it's just awesome to get some cool things in the mail from people that are also Goonies fans and things like that. So we're gonna have that. We're gonna have a little mail roll call. Mail call, I guess that's what Daryl said, which Daryl's going to be on again. Dave's going to be on again. I know that people are busy and there's other people that might not be able to chime back in, but as long as people are in the chat, then we should be good. Here's the other thing. I am going to be all over this chat. Okay. I'm going to start at the beginning and I'm going to work my way down. If you have questions about things, I'm going to do my best to stay on top of it. There's probably an opportunity later as well that we will do where people can maybe come on and ask questions, or maybe just talk about something, maybe their experience down there at the 40th, the nerd aspect of things, whatever they got, whatever they want, right? This is a show for the people, for the nerds, for the geeks, the dorks, the movie enthusiasts, the video gamers, anything good old school retro, right? Let's see. Probably in about 5 minutes or so, we're gonna get Mark on here. We're gonna talk to him a little bit. So I definitely want you guys to be as active in the chat as possible while we're there. Make your comments, questions, ask what you can. I would love to be able to just chime in every now and then and just make this about you guys. If there's stuff that you would like to ask Mark about, or anybody else that comes on for that matter too. These 3 mail calls, one is Mario, one is Michael Barnard. Some of you guys probably know him from his Etsy shop. He does do some pretty cool things. I know I've gotten some cool things from him. This is a Zero Flux Given, a little Back to the Future sticker that I got from him, amongst some other things that I will show you later. I don't want to give it away. And then Chris Tupa, who also sent me some of his artwork and things like that. So it's just gonna be awesome. Oh, Holly, I just saw that on there. Thank you for spending your 51st with us. That is awesome. Thank you for supporting this first venture into the solo world of Dustin, and what we're going to bring to you for the nerd stuff. Please do check out my Etsy shop. I know that we have the 40th stuff that's on there. Whenever I transition to something different, it's not going to be any more 40th stuff, right? When it comes to like the Goonies. So when this stuff is gone, it's gone. So if you want some headbands, if you want like coins and things like that, got some blankets left, we got some flags left, not a whole lot. So please get on there and get what you can. Let's see what else to talk about. I gotta throw baby Sloth out there. I'm gonna be pulling him out every now and then when we need to. Let's see. I know I'm missing something. I know later we're gonna have Daryl and Dave on. I want to do some more facts with people. I want you guys to be more of a part of it. Maybe bring you guys in, boot you out, things like that. Can't have you in here for a long period of time because then you guys are gonna be like me, and then you're just never gonna leave. We can only have one me. Just me. Let's see. Oh, nice. At the gym, getting Goonie fit, listening, watching. I like that though. That's fun. And yes, my boy Johnny Nass. So the Basement Show, he is all the behind the scenes stuff that you guys are seeing, from the intro to the header that's there, just me coming up on the video, people coming in, everything is Johnny behind the scenes doing that. And not only does he like doing it, he's amazing at it when it comes to stuff. He's quick and he's self-taught too. So that is really awesome. So huge shout out to Johnny. I want to, if everybody who's in the chat, we'll do a roll call really quick. If you're in the chat, just say, thank you, Johnny. Everybody just say, thank you, Johnny. I want to see who's in there so I can see everybody's names and stuff too. I want that opportunity. Oh, so Gail has a quick question too. She wants to know what are the Goonies and Back to the Future connections. But there is a fan theory, right? That little fun fan theory that everybody likes to have. There's all kinds of crazy things, like the whole area where the clock tower is also from Gremlins and things like that. But when you look at the calendar and you look at the year, and they talk about the Fratellis and the Fratellis paper that they see, the paper is actually from the Thursday, right? Because they're, it has to be published and getting it. And so the Fratellis, break out and do their thing. But they have their little nuclear Saturday thing. And if you think about it, it actually falls on the same day for, Back to the Future. So kind of a little fun. I love those little Easter eggs that people just kind of think of to see what they like to do. What up, Chris? How you doing, bud? I am going to get on here and actually, Johnny, let's see here. I'm gonna send a link. I do have a little surprise that I'm working on right now. I apologize. I wish I was made of millions and millions of dollars and I'm able just to make stuff happen. But I did design a new coin. And Johnny, maybe we could do that now. We'll do that really quick. We could pop that up. Yeah, I'm looking to do a 40th anniversary, no flux given, 1.21 gigawatt 40th anniversary Back to the Future coin. It'll be raised just like the other one. This is like a flat little, just what it would look like, but also it's going to be in color, right? Fun fact about me. I don't see color. So I'm doing this for you guys, not for me. I only see in grayscale. Head trauma when I was a kid, I could have told you guys about that a long time ago. But the cool thing is there's a company that is in America that wants to, help me out a little bit with this. So this is in the works. We're going to see what kind of deals that they can run. And if so, this is something you guys are interested in, please let me know in the chat if this is stuff that you guys think is cool. I would love to keep going with like specialized 40th anniversary coins for certain movies, right? Maybe we could have like get a case, a little movie challenge coin case, right? Like they do for like the military and stuff. But yeah, anyway, so there's that. I'm going to, let's see here. I'm gonna share this really quick. I got a couple people I gotta send the link to Johnny. Let's see if we can maybe get one to Mark, and we'll bring Mark on here. Also, the background, really quick. That background, that is just not really cool arcade machines that we got a picture of for the background. Those are all my arcades. If you see that little which direction? That side, my little Mario one, right? I painted those. I got them for $10 on Facebook Marketplace years back, and then just painted them up. And then that Pac-Man was like one of my first machines, and Total Carnage, fun games, Anyway, a little bit about me for that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's fun stuff. Let's see here. Do me a favor, everybody. We got some questions, right, that were in there. But if anybody has any questions for me, let's throw those in there while I'm trying to do the behind the scenes stuff really quick on some of this. And bear with me also because, I don't know what I'm doing at all. So. And it also is a little quiet when you don't have other people talking with you, right? So sometimes I will want to fill the void, and I don't realize that I don't have to fill every single void. There we go, perfect. And Mark is Mark in here? If Mark is in here, Johnny, and you send him the link, let's bring him in anytime he's ready. Look at that. That is awesome. How many people we have in here? I like this. Oh, what is my second favorite 80s movie? Here's the thing. I have different categories. So I actually have like 80s movies. I have in kind of like two different categories because my favorite movie of all time is actually The Princess Bride. I know. What is this guy doing wearing this shirt, right? But my next favorite movie when it comes to that kind of stuff does fall in with the Goonies and the Back to the Future, and then Indiana Jones. Last Crusade. I love Last Crusade. I think it's just because I like Sean Connery so much, right? Yeah. And yes, Junior, I actually have tried those glasses. I was on a Kickstarter when they first came out. I gifted them to a little 7-year-old boy. Mine is neurological. So my eyesight was from head trauma, and it deteriorated due to my brain not receiving, I don't know, my brain and my eyes. Something doesn't work in there, but my eyes work perfectly fine. But yeah, that happened when I was 21. When I was 21, I fully lost my color. And it sucked because I did art. I did a lot of fun stuff with art and things like that too. Lost Boys, Daryl. That's definitely on my top 10 list. Stand By Me as well. You know what? So, ladies and gentlemen, I just got the word right here from Johnny that Mark is in here. I want to bring Mark on and do another round, the last round. So please put your hands together, even though I can't hear him, for the amazing Mark Marshall. Also, remember to ask these questions, you guys, because this is the last time Mark's on here for a little while. So let's get some questions in here. What's up, Mark?
Well, what an introduction. Thank you.
You got it, bud. You got it, man. I'm just happy that you're taking the time to come back on here again, man. I enjoy every minute of it, and if you didn't let me know that you got things going on, I probably would have been there every Monday. Hey, Mark, what are you doing? Hey, Mark, you want to hang out?
No, I appreciate it. I had a good time the last couple of times I was on, so happy to do it.
Heck yeah, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. So, one thing that I did want to know, and I know that when I had you on with Johnny and stuff like that, and we were kind of talking, and we get stuck in the stories about like the Goonies and things like that, which is kind of where it stemmed getting you on from. But people had a lot of questions about things, but I wanted to know a little bit about the jobs that you've had on the different movies, like your roles. I know that when when you look online on like IMDb, I see a role that you play or a job title that you have, and I don't know what any of those really mean, or what you do. So I was just curious as to some of the movies from Star Wars to, Free Willy and stuff, what you did.
Well, I started out as a PA, production assistant on More American Graffiti and Empire Strikes Back and then Raiders. And then when I went to Amblin, I was a personal assistant to Steven. And when I went on to Richard Donner's production company, I was a production rep on his HBO series Tales from the Crypt. And in the hiatus times, I was an assistant to Jenny Lou Tugin, who was Dick's co-producer on Radio Flyer and Lethal Weapon 3. And then when Jenny was bumped to producer on Free Willy, she bumped me to associate producer, which I did for Free Willy 1 and 2, and then co-producer on Free Willy 3. But during the Free Willy films, I really fell in love with post-production. So the rest of my credits, studio credits at least, are essentially a post-production supervisor, which is just someone who is kind of the producer of post-production. Oversees the budget, the scheduling, and the sound editing, the music, the film editing, and make sure everybody has what they need, and and then essentially what you see in the theaters is part of my responsibility because I have to approve the sound formats, and then the first print off the negative, and then the IP and the IN. So it's I really feel that's where the film is made, is in post-production. So that's there goes I'm gonna have to duct tape these things to my ears.
Get some earmuffs on those things.
Yeah, I may have to do that. But yeah, so that was the remaining time I had at the studio was post supervisor, which I loved. I loved it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What I asked people to start doing some questions and stuff like that too in the chat, just to see what people kind of wanted to ask you, because I know that the last couple of times we didn't have too many people that ask questions. For me personally, just being a huge fan, especially Star Wars, just everything Star Wars. And you worked on, I think it was episode 5, or
yes,
right? That was right, or third, you're not third, but second. How you look, I don't know. People are always like, no, I don't recognize that. I'm like, well, there is an order to them, right? And you gotta respect the order. But
that's true. That's true.
Right. So on that, and that being early on in your career, right?
Right. And I was a PA at Lucasfilm. We had a office down south in Los Angeles, across from Universal Studios, and it was called the Egg Company because it was a converted Olsen Egg Company warehouse, and that housed the publicity, the publishing, the legal, the merchandising, all those other divisions of Lucasfilm were there. So I was a PA there. I stayed on after More American Graffiti. Thanks to Howard Kazanjian, who was my mentor. And so when Empire came up, I mean, I was still doing regular Lucasfilm things, but a friend named Craig Miller, who was one of the publicists at Lucasfilm, I don't know if he saw something in me or what, but he gave me an opportunity to write for the Star Wars Fan Club newsletter. And then that turned into an opportunity to go to London to visit the Hoth set during Empire Strikes Back production and do cast and crew interviews and things like that. And then after Empire, stayed on and went through production on Raiders.
Oh wow, okay. So you kind of just jump straight to it right after that, then.
It was well, Empire came out in May of 1980, and Steven came in actually, in December of '79, right after 1941 was released. So there was some overlap there, but those films took a long time to make.
Oh yeah. Now, are there a lot of times, and I'm going to get to Daryl's question too. Was there a lot of times that you were working on certain movies where, like you said, that overlap, that you were not transitioning, but literally doubling and tripling up on certain movies where you're kind of going back to do some of that post-production stuff too as well?
Well, when I was post supervisor, that was, it was really one film at a time. Typically, a post supervisor would come on the last week of production to set everything up and make the transition to post. And really, you do just that one film, and you see it through to the end. And then, if you're fortunate, you have a chance to go on to another production, which I did. But when I was at Amblin as Steven's assistant, personal assistant, we were doing 5 films the first year. So what was amazing was there were 28 employees, including Steven, Kathy, and Frank, and we got 5 films out. So we were kind of the support teams for Kathy, Steven, and Frank. But those were crazy times.
Yeah, that sounds like it was crazy times. I'm guessing Daryl's question here might fall in there somewhere, but he says, what was the hardest movie that you worked on and why?
Oh gosh, probably one of Dick Donner's movies called Assassins, that stars Sylvester Stallone and
Antonio Banderas. Yeah, I love it. It's got one of my favorite lines in it.
Which was?
It was the one where Sylvester Stallone was on the floor and he looks up and he goes, "Thanks for the chocolate." I don't know why, but there's just that one line from that movie. I don't know why, but when me and my friends were younger, we'd always just look up to somebody when you're staying the night, and I'd always look up and I go, "Thanks for the chocolate." And it was just the way he said it, but it was whenever somebody goes, "What movie is that from?" I'm like, "Assassins." I don't know why I loved it so much.
Well, I couldn't tell you who actually wrote that line, whether it was Wachowski's or Brian Helgeland, or whether Stallone ad-libbed it. But no, that film was tough because they didn't get started on production until May of 1995, and the film was scheduled for release in October of '95.
Wow.
Usually you have 8 months to a year to get a film done, and even more on the big films. But this one was, Warner Brothers had determined that the only time that a Stallone film was profitable is if you released it the second week in October. So they had already kind of slated it in. And we ended up doing 91 straight days of post-production, 15 hours every day. And it took its toll. I talk about it in my book, but it was, that was probably the toughest shoot that I've ever done. And I was younger then. I couldn't do that today.
Yeah, I know. You think back on some of those things from back in the day, right? Like you're doing those back-to-back movies and things like that, and kind of how they work nowadays and stuff. It always seems like there's twice as many people helping. You got an assistant to the assistant to the other assistant, right? A lot of AI helping you out as well. Let's see, Dana wants to know, out of all the movies that you worked on, which was your favorite and why? And I know that this one might have been one of those ones we talked about in the beginning, but some people might be new chiming in. So,
Yeah, it's like asking which of your kids is your favorite. It's
right.
they,
Yeah.
they all have their charms. My first off the cuff answer would be Goonies, because it was it was a it was the first time I felt that I was included in a production, actually working on the production and not you know far away from where the action was. And we really did become a family, because all the crew members felt very parental. When you have 7 kids, and I'm including Josh, Carrie, and Martha in the kid thing. So that was really a very special experience that I still treasure those memories today. Free Willy was my first film as a producer, and I love the story. I don't know if you know this, but Heath Walker, who played Mr. Walsh in The
Mhm.
Goonies, wrote the script for Free Willy.
Oh, wow.
It was his story, and he wrote the first draft, and then we had a couple of people come in and kind of do a few rewrites, but it was still Keith's story and most of his dialogue, uh, and and just the impact that film had on so many people around the world makes that one really special. Um, and then, of course, then Harry Potter, the first Harry Potter film, was my longest time in England, so there are special memories of that. Um, so you'll forgive me if it's really difficult for me to kind of pick one out.
Yeah, and you do have that list of movies that I think that if you even ask people, like, which one of these is like your favorite movie and stuff, and then people got to look through those, like, really, I gotta choose just one, right? Like, I mean, they're iconic. All of them are iconic, Like, now, Free
Yeah.
Willy, like, you worked on all 3 films, right?
Yes. Yes.
That was yours. That was okay. Yeah, that's got to be fun. How's it
Well,
working with the whale?
uh, Keiko was truly amazing. He was so sensitive, so friendly. Of course, we couldn't risk having our 12-year-old star, Jason Richter, in the tank with a real whale. So Walt Conti, who designed the humpback whales for Star Trek 4, and later on Anaconda, actually built a full-size animatronic whale. Jurassic Park gets all the press because the full-size dinosaurs, which were truly amazing, awe-inspiring, but those things couldn't take a step. They were stationary. Our whale, our orca, could actually swim freely with the flukes
so cool.
and the pecks and everything. It was, and in the blowhole work too. It was amazing. So
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I kind of think that we maybe had a slight edge, but Jurassic Park got all the press. But no, it was so there were so many innovations on that film, and we were so lucky to have Simon Windsor as our director, who one of my favorite um, productions of all time is Lonesome Dove, and so having Simon, who directed that 6 hours, do our film was truly remarkable for me. I learned so much from him, and yeah, it was. I have a lot of behind the scenes footage that I shot with a little high 8 camera that was given to me for the production. And one of these days, I'll edit it and get it out, and people can see what went on behind the scenes. It was really a fun production.
And back in the day when you're doing that like the document stuff that you're experiencing, be a part of and stuff. And nowadays, I feel like everybody wants to be a part of that back, the back of the scenes type of stuff, right? You want bloopers, you want the funny pictures, you want the people that you don't, that you see them out of costume or whatever. I mean, for me, just asking the Free Willy thing about working with a whale, because when I was a kid, I mean, living up in Washington, I mean, I used to go into the Puget Sound, you know, you can see the humpbacks and things like that all the time, orcas and things like that. So you see them, and then you see this movie where this kid gets to go up and touch. I'm always just like, I wonder if that was real, right? I wonder if he's really going there and doing that. But that makes sense, though. And the fact that an animatronic, like, I mean, yeah, I mean, to be able to have the amount of functions that had in comparison, I mean, you look at the back, kind of like the back of the scenes for Jurassic Park and some of the footage that they have, and it's not very cool. You know, you just see these puppeteers almost, and then you just see like this dinosaur that's just standing there. It's not really doing anything, right? And to have an actual whale that's actually able to like swim there, blowhole works, you know, mouth moves, things like that. That's very impressive.
Well, you know, we had a scene, a shot where Jason was sitting on the edge of the pool and had his feet dangling in the water. And in the script, Jesse he starts playing his harmonica. And Jason had he knew a few notes, so he played something, and Keiko swam over to him and got up almost nose to nose with him. And it wasn't scripted. It was completely ad-libbed and natural. And I think it's one of the most endearing shots in the movie because it really showed the relationship not only between Jesse and Willie, but Keiko and Jason. So yeah, a lot of special memories on that.
Yeah, that and things like that, which is actually that was actually, you transitioned to the next question for me. I think is what sets us apart from today is like back in the day is there was a lot of there was a lot of like animals, there was a lot of real stunts being done in comparison to what they do now with like AI and like special effects, CGI type of stuff. So when you used to see stuff, my kids will watch movies and they'll be like, oh, like kind of like that's not that impressive. And I'm like, you do realize they're really doing that. Like they didn't have the CGI like you're having today. Like these are real actors and stunt people doing that. And then they're like, seriously? I'm like, yeah, kids, your dad was old when this came out. Jason, though, he said, if done ethically, do you see a positive way for AI to fit into the film production?
Well, define ethically. I mean, I think this is still too new and too overwhelming. I don't think anybody has any kind of bead on. I think they have an idea of what it can be used for and the cost savings involved. But I think the temptation is always to push it a little bit further, maybe too far. And what we have to understand at the very essence of filmmaking is storytelling. We're telling stories that hopefully resonate with people, and I feel that whatever devices you can use to tell that story, as long as it doesn't interfere, can certainly be used. But I think there needs to be a lot more research and maybe some rules written up about how it can be used, because the temptation will be to replace actors with AI characters. And I'm sorry, but they will never be able to emote and get the message across like a real actor can. So I think we need to proceed with caution.
I like that. That's a great answer, because I'm a little simpler. I'm just like, get AI out of the situations where it comes to that kind of stuff. I don't think it needs to have any place when it comes to, like you said, it is a tool, right? You've used the right way, I guess, for the right thing, but it seems like people are trying to using it to replace, and I don't think that it's like the whole thing about like a robot, being somebody coming to your door and they're just a robot and they're like going to sell you something. I'm like, a little scary.
Well, if you're on social media, whether it's Facebook or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, or even Threads, you've seen AI being used to, try to simulate a disaster, or and it's fake, it's annoying. And I don't like being manipulated like that. So I think that's one thing that really makes you stop and question. And we're going to have to just have a really hard set of rules to define where it can be used, when it can be used, and how it can be used. And if we can keep within those parameters, then maybe it's a good tool to have.
Well, and I look at like what you just said about like the AI or like the disasters type of stuff, right? The stuff that's a little bit more on the political or that kind of that movie with Steve Carell, Mountainhead, that just came out. It was kind of loosely based on things that were like that, where it was generated AI that was creating issues that weren't there. And now you have governments that are fighting each other because they think that somebody's doing something, and you're and all you're doing is making content or a movie or a clip from something that's simple like that. And once it gets out there and people think it's real because they don't know what isn't, that's when you start creating those issues. And here's Dale's upbeat way of getting us out of that question. What is your most prized possession from a movie that you worked on?
Oh, wow.
And if you told me that you got a droid, I'm coming over. Just saying.
No, no, I've got little model droids, but that's about it. No, I have one of the Haida whale carvings that Randolph gives to Jesse in the first Free Willy film. I have that. I was given an Ollivander's wand box during the premiere of the Sorcerer's Stone. So those things, and then obviously when you're young, the crew jackets really, mean something. The Last Crusade, Temple of Doom, Back to the Future, those things really are kind of neat swag. But as I've gotten older, I'm really starting to divest myself of those things because they just sit in a closet or on a shelf, and someone will really, who loves those movies will cherish those things more than I have. So, I'm kind of doing it slowly but surely.
It's nice. Chris Copley says, I have a Goonie related question for Mark. Can Mark give us any information on some of the lesser known film locations? Where was the wishing well scene filmed at, or Data's intro scene in the beginning of the movie where he pulls himself to the trash can with his invention? The scene where the Fratellis pick Chunk after he escaped through the window was the tennis court scene with the drinking fountain filmed in Griffith Park. So I guess they're kind of just wondering if how many of those locations were filmed somewhere else and maybe where they were.
Well, okay, just kind of going one by one. The wishing well exterior with Troy and his two friends was shot in Griffith Park. In fact, I think Brad Tyndall actually found the exact location based on a map that I gave him from the production. So he can share that, and you can see that. The tennis court was in Griffith Park as well. The scene where Chunk escapes and is caught by the Fratellis was up off of Franklin Canyon, which is near the Franklin Canyon Reservoir, which is where they shot the opening for Andy Griffith's show, and Star Trek, and a lot of other combat, a lot of other shows, movies and television shows. And I think I've got the location for that as well. Data's run-in with the trash can was actually on the back lot at Warner Brothers. It was over by the mill where the wood was kept, and there was a big some big cylinder. I'm not sure what it was used for, whether it was an incinerator or what, but it was graffitied up and shot there. I mean, you can tell everything that was shot on location in Astoria, had the gray pallor to it because of the weather, but Data's scene is blue skies, and that's because we shot that in early January, right after the Christmas holiday. So that was done in the back lot. Originally, it was shot up in Astoria, but we lost the light, and Nick McLean wasn't happy with that. So otherwise, everything was Astoria or the Warner Brothers lot, stages 15, 16, 19, and 19A.
I'm honestly, Mark, sometimes when you start talking about some of this stuff, I'm like, how does he remember this? It sounds like you're like, oh, seriously, like you start talking about some of this stuff, and I'm like, I can't even remember where I was when I first watched the movie, like at the theater name. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was younger, like things like that. I get very impressed by that, because that doesn't just show your passion, but your love for what you do, and you know, the movies that you've worked on, the people that you worked with, and things like that.
Well, I may be a bit of an idiot savant, heavy on the idiot part, but yeah, no, it's that's one of the things I can remember most of the locations that we've shot at on most of the films over the years, and I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse.
Hey, it's a blessing for us. We get to know it now. Let's see. Dan said, which movie was your least favorite and why? Not least,
wow.
Maybe not least favorite. How about you know, maybe one that increased a little bit of more difficulty, or maybe you didn't work on as much or something. I don't want to say least favorite, because you know, some of these movies, they're all amazing in their own right.
Well, you know, again, I may have to go back to Assassins, because just the pressure that we were under, and you know, I was working with a brilliant editor who was nice at times and a monster at other times, and the pressure simply, you know, the time crunch just exacerbated a lot of things, and I had to employ some techniques that I really didn't want to employ. And again, you know, it's explained in the book, so you can find it there. But you know, it was. You know, I love working for Donner. I love Dick, and he made it bearable. But I gotta tell you, it was not something I'd like to repeat.
Oh, nice. I like that. Let's see. Next question we got from Gail. She wants to know where the whale is now, and do you have memorabilia? Let's see, and what's your favorite? I think we did that. That was a previous question for the memorabilia. And if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Keiko released back in like the late 90s or something like that?
He was. Keiko was released in 90. I want to say 96.
Okay.
Back to Norway. This was, you know, in a case of life imitating art. You know, at the end of Free Willy, Willie was free, but Keiko was still in his tank in Mexico, and he was dying. He was in a place that it had a lot of smog. The water was too warm. It was not salinated correctly. The fish was subpar, and so when Free Willy 2 was announced, we had a huge backlash. There were a lot of threatening letters to the heads of Warner Brothers, Terry Semel and Bob Daly. Essentially, one lady actually addressed her letter to, you know, Dear Mr. Cruelty. It was, you know, they had taken Keiko to their heart, and they saw that while the movie, you know, Willie's free, Keiko was not. So it was thanks to the grassroots efforts from kids all over the world, and a lot of organizations. They were able to get Keiko out of Mexico into a newly built tank. There was cold seawater, great fish, and while he was being rehabilitated in the Pacific Northwest, it was Newport, Oregon, where not too far from Astoria. Keiko gained 2,000 pounds, and in kind of a one of its kind happening, he was released back to Norway, where he was captured when he was a youngling, and he lived out his days there, but unfortunately passed away. Um, uh, just he was It was several factors, but anyway, he did taste freedom, and he sort of had a happy ending, just like the movie.
Mhm. And I always remember that because I just remember that, when I was younger, we didn't have the Googles and stuff like that. You actually had to go to a library and read or figure it out for yourself. And I had figured out that it was the year I was born. It was like 1979. That was like when they considered, Free Willy was born. I was like, that's when I was born. This whale's like me, right? Like you always find something that you can relate to.
Sure.
What do we got here? Emily from Mark. Let's see, if you could, in just one or two words, how would you describe the personality of Corey, Sean, Kai, and Jeff in 1985? So in just a few words, the main four of the Goonies, how would you kind of describe them individually? And this is
Wow.
Emily, and she's down tomorrow. She's watching right now from tomorrow in Australia, I think. I don't know how that works. Maybe it was yesterday. I don't know.
Well, I'll answer tomorrow then.
Yeah, right.
Boy, that's for Sean. It would be boundless energy. That kid, man, was off like a rocket all the time. Corey was anxious, but professional. I mean, his home life wasn't the best, and we went through that every day with him, not fully understanding what he was going through. But he was a thorough professional and never let that affect his work. He genuine sweetness. Key then is key now, and what you see is the real key. It's not manufactured. So he is truly a light, and Jeff is funny and loving, really genuinely funny. That kid made me laugh all the time. We would go over to his house for holidays. Annie and Logan Ramsey and several other people and I, and they kept us in stitches. But he's also a very loving guy, I refer to him as my little brother. I once told him, I said, "You're the little brother I never had, and I'm the big brother you never wanted." And so we carry those roles in public. But an amazing group of kids that I've had the pleasure to watch grow up over the years, and 40 years is a long time to maintain friendships, and Josh and Carrie and Martha too. But those kids were the main four.
That's so awesome. And it's good to hear things like that too. I always like to think that he was, when you see him, I mean, because there's so many similarities from him from like Round Eye and stuff like that. But then when you watch him later on, like in Love Hurts and what is that? Everything Anywhere All at Once, or his personality and who he is, man. It's his character. It's who he takes into each one of those characters in different ways. And as a kid, and when you watch him in the Goonies, it does look like that's his authentic self. Like just be who you are, kid. This is you. Just be you.
Well, that's why Dick cast them, and that was a secret, I think, to or one of the secrets to the movie being so beloved, is that Dick wanted real kids, and so he had them talking over each other and arguing, and they were their characters. Sean really is a natural leader, and a peacemaker, and Corey is confident and likes to kind of stir things up once in a while, but very loyal. And the kids are, like you said, they're who they are on the screen.
We have Kelly actually was asking that she says that she has your book that she still needs to read, but however, she was wondering if it's in an audio format as well. And I'm just going to chime in and say, if it's not in audio format and you need somebody, bud, you come talk to me. I'll do that for free.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm actually working on that. I'm working on an ebook right now, for Kindle. So hopefully those will be out later this year. I know I need to probably narrate it, but I'm not a fluid speaker by nature, and I don't know, but I guess people should hear from me.
Right.
So it will be coming, but it may be a little while.
Let's see. And Johnny, who is our producer here tonight, he says, with Mel Gibson as crazy and real person as he was portrayed as Martin Riggs in Lethal Weapon movies.
No, but Mel was a huge practical joker, and he found a kindred spirit in Donner. So together, I think they were lethal. But no, Mel had amazing energy, and always up on the set. So he wasn't psychologically damaged, just like Riggs, but he certainly had that kind of really high type A personality.
That's awesome. Man, we got everybody is enjoying themselves, and I love it. I have to sometimes realize that when you and I are sitting here talking, Mark, that I'm like, all right, what are we going to talk about for the next 45, 30, 80 minutes, 120 minutes? But then I look at it and I'm like, wow, we've already been on here for 45 plus, right?
Wow.
I want to throw it out there to anybody else. We got let's do like two more. We'll do two more questions if anybody has any questions in there.
And I'm just going to readjust my seat here.
Yeah, there we go. And
I have the world's most uncomfortable chair.
Mine is the squeaky one. I got that I tried a WD-40. I don't think I put it in the right place because it still squeaks on this thing.
I'll trade you. I'll trade you anytime.
Let's see. Donald Dean wanted to know what the material, if you know what the material was for the map, what it was drawn on.
It was a heavy parchment paper that had a kind of a wax coating, but at first it was distressed, and you've heard the stories that Michael Reba, the production designer, didn't feel it was aged enough, so he actually used some of his own blood on the edges of the map and in certain places. And then I think that there was kind of a light wax coating that gave it that shine. And
and you also see like when Mikey rolls it up, sometimes you kind of think how many times they're handling the map, they're opening it up, they're putting their hands on it. It had to probably have some sort of coating on it so it didn't just rip. And there were several versions of the map. It was and some were burned, because Troy tries to smoke it in one scene, and so there were always several versions. I know a couple of them that exist still, and the rumor that Sean's mother threw his away, I think, is actually true. That's nuts. I've seen him actually talk about that a couple times in some Comic-Con interviews that he's done and stuff, and you can just see him shaking his head like, "Mom, Patty Duke, what are you doing?" No. Let's see. And then Donald also want to know: is it true that Jake's hat was Indiana Jones's hat?
I don't believe so. I don't think they would have. They might have gotten the same style, but Lucasfilm kept their wardrobe. Pretty close, so they wouldn't have lent that out, but it could have been the same style.
And then we'll go with the last one here. Daryl he says, "What was your favorite location to shoot at?" That's a good question.
Man, that's a good question.
To home?
Well, I was never close to home. That's the thing. Well, no, I take that back. I was living in an apartment in North Hollywood at one point, and we shot a scene from Lethal Weapon 3 literally a block from my apartment. So I was able to get up one morning and just, go to work in my pajamas. Now, I got to say that I had a really, are you talking about stage or location or location, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, location.
Yeah, I would say the Hammond Boat Basin, where Willie makes his leap to freedom. I went to visit there after the Goonies weekend, and it's such a beautiful, serene place, and really enjoyed shooting out there.
That's awesome.
I think they even have a sign that marks it as a Free Willy location.
Oh, really? Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see people that post pictures sometimes, like you start friending people on Facebook and things, and so you'll see different places they're at, their favorite movies and where that. A lot of people are putting up, this is the location where this is at, this is where this is at, and I'm like, and I'm in my head, I'm always thinking, I'm like, that's where that was filmed at, kind of like, I didn't know Free Willy was, Astoria down there, so like, I had no idea, so.
Yeah, no,
but yeah, hey,
that's.
No, go ahead. No, you.
No, it's like I had a friend from England who came to visit, kind of a budding director, who's now going to be a director, and I took him up to the ET house in Tahunga, California, and he broke down crying, and because he said that was ET was his touchstone film when he was young, and you don't realize how incredible those locations or how powerful they can be, whether it's the Back to the Future house or the Friday the 13th house or the Halloween house, any of those locations. The more iconic the film, the more iconic the location.
Yeah, and that impact that it has in your life at the time that you're watching it, or maybe you didn't get a chance to watch it in the theater, you watched it later. Like I have some friends that they weren't like me. They didn't go watch the Goonies in the theater. They might not have been old enough yet when they got a chance to see the house. It wasn't until they were in like their 30s, right? And and then you realize that the time that they came together to be a Goonie, to have that be in their life, to meet the people. I know a lot of people during the 40th were saying a lot of the same thing, just saying that I didn't realize, like how many people were like me when it came to this movie, and it's an emotional moment. My moment was being able to tour the house. There was 2 times in there I had to kind of walk away from the group that I was with because I didn't want to be the guy that was in there. I'm a big guy. I don't want to be in there balling. I'll never stop. So that was my moment, and that became something that now it means something different. I've been down to Astoria now twice just since the 40th. I go see Dave down at the museum and say hi and things like that, and it's a blessing being able to be so close to it, but you don't realize the impact something like that has on you, especially, the friends that you create from that. So,
well, I think what Damon and Elizabeth have done in conjunction with James Connolly and his team is I don't know if they truly understand or appreciate yet how impactful that is going to be. I know that they certainly must have an inkling, but when if we were affected by the site. Just imagine how people who were raised on that film and that was their touchstone film are going to react when they see it recreated exactly. It's going to be an incredible, probably overpowering moment for many of them. And so what they have done is incalculable.
Yeah, I've thanked them on each one of these podcasts multiple times. I hope to get a chance to get Damon to come on and kind of say from his perspective and stuff. But man, like you said, it's just seeing the Donner Bench, seeing the house the way it was, having him, even own Data's house, just to make that area just so, singular Goonies, you know, and yeah, it's been pretty amazing. And getting the chance to meet both of them as well was awesome. You know, Liz sitting there talking to me for like 15, 20 minutes just to take just out of her time, out of her day. She's just sitting there, and I was like, "You got to go." She's like, "No, I love hearing these stories." You know, so you can sense that. And then Bayman I didn't even know if he'd recognize me from giving him a Goonies coin a year and a half ago, and you know, I'm there with a group of people. People are talking to him like they know him, and I'm like, you know, hi, you know, like I'm just here. You know, I didn't really want to say anything. And somebody went to introduce me. I think it might have been Dave that tried to introduce me to Bayman, and Bayman gives me a big hug, and he's like, "I know this guy," you know. And I was just like, that means a lot to me, you know. Just I mean,
Yeah.
in the fact of what he's doing, and he recognizes that, you know, there's a bunch of us Goonies out there that are glad that he bought the house, that he kept it kind of keeping it in the family, you know. So
Absolutely.
it's
Well, and when you have someone like Adam F. Goldberg, who wants to be there, wants to be a part of that unveiling and be a part of that moment, that's amazing too. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're famous or not. It impacts us in its, you know, each in its own way. And yeah, I was tremendously moved, and it caught up with me in the after interview that I did. So I embarrassed myself greatly, but yeah, you know, when we're talking about 40 years, roughly half of someone's life, it's yeah, it's a little overwhelming.
It's a long time. I mean, and I guarantee you there's probably another 40 to come too. You know, I mean, this doesn't seem like this is going away anytime soon. You know,
No, I don't. I think it'll just keep growing.
right? I'm going to Johnny's got your book up there. For everybody else that's here, thank you guys for chiming in. You know, to ask questions and stuff like that, and talk with me and Mark. We're gonna put the link up there too. So if anybody's looking to get the book and get it signed and then sent to you, we're gonna go ahead and be able to give that to you as well. And
Much
just
appreciated.
man, I gotta thank you again, Mark. It's just been amazing having you on these 3 times just to enjoy the stories and being able to talk with all us super fans out there, you know. So, and I
Hey,
appreciate it.
it's been my pleasure, Dustin, and you know, I love talking about it as much as hopefully people love hearing it, and I'd love to come back on again at some point and talk some more, bend your ear, you know.
You got, dude. I got some big ears, so the bending is going to be real easy to do.
Well, I got a big mouth, so
I know you got some stuff coming up too. So, like, you know what, you do your thing, and I'll be reaching out, and then we'll get you back on here again and talk some more.
okay.
100%.
That sounds great. That sounds great. You listen. Have a great evening. Have a great rest of your summer, and my best to everyone tuning in. And we'll do it again soon.
Perfect. Thank you, Mark. Have a great night, man.
You too, Dustin. Take care.
Oh man. Why do I look this giddy the whole time I'm talking to Mark? Because I am this giddy. Every time I talk to Mark, I just my gut sinks up, and I'm like, ugh, like, what am I supposed to say now? You know, for future shows, everybody, I need somebody to remind me I should probably write things down to say instead of just trying to just wing it as I go. I'm gonna hit some of these some of the comments in here because I want to kind of see some of these other ones. I know if anybody put on here like any kind of questions and things like that we didn't get a chance to talk to Mark about and stuff like that, we definitely definitely will. Oh, my boy Anthony Verno. Let's see, was Data's waistband functional? Like, did it actually do the things in the movie? And I think, you know what, I remember them saying that there were some things that were, you know, a lot of it was just staged and how it worked and stuff, but there were little things that they actually did that they actually made the function work and stuff. And if you actually can see, there's some of them actually have like you know, man hands, like real grown-up hands. They're not really like Data's hands doing certain things. It's kind of funny to see. Let's see here. Let's I do want to get in because I think Mario's in here. Mario, if you're in here, and I want to Let's see, Chris, Tupa, Mark, or Michael Barnard. If you guys are in here, I'm going to send you guys the link. Let's see here. And then what we'll do is I'll bring you guys all in. Let me see if I can't do something. Oh, boom. Let's see if that works. There's one. Also, if anybody has ideas and stuff too for like the podcast, like I'd love to talk with people and stuff like that too. Like if somebody wants to come on and they want to talk about a movie, they want to do a little short, with me and stuff like that, so we kind of go back and forth and stuff. Let's freaking do that. Let's see. I'm gonna send this to Mario. And last but not least, where's Michael? There's Michael. I'm getting the hang of this kind of. So if you boys got that, click on those links, and then I'll bring you in here in just a second when Johnny lets me know that you guys are good to go. Let's see here. Who else we got on here? Walt, what's happening, bud? Chris, it's still surreal being able to walk through the house after they remodeled it. It was a wow. It was a wow moment. It definitely was a wow moment. You are correct. It was a little bit a bigger moment than I thought it was going to be for me. Seeing all that stuff in there. It was speechless. I'm speechless about it. It was overwhelming, emotionally overwhelming. Taking a house that you felt that was yours as a kid, the Goonies house. That was all of our houses. I mean, if you grew up in the 80s, everything that looked like was basically us, your bedrooms and everything. The adventures they went on, probably not what we all went on, but we all tried, right? And so that kind of was like the culmination of like everything that we felt going into that. Let's see. Is there any information about what the plans are next for the Goonies house will be available to the public? Dana, so as far as I know, and I know that I got to be careful because I did sign an NDA to not talk about things about the inside of the house, but for the Goonies house, I'm pretty sure what they're going to do is they're going to wait till the docuseries is done. Once that's done, what I think they're hoping for through Netflix to be able to put that on there. But I believe as of right now, they're not going to let anybody really see the house. They're not really doing anything with the inside of the house yet because they want to give that wow factor to people when they actually watch it for the first time. So as far as I know, that's just the talk when I was there. And I was listening into production people and talking to them and stuff too. Walt, what did you miss? You're going to have to go back and watch the rest of it later on your own time, son. Just joking. Love you, bud. Walt Parrish is the reason why I went back down to Astoria, because he helped me to find one of the coins and to try to have this awesome, moment where I could send one to him. I tried to go down there and find one at the underground. Although I failed, it was not anywhere high or waist level. It was on the ground, and I'm a tall person, and apparently I missed it. So I tried. I did my best. I went down there, but I got to see my boy Dave down there, so that was okay. I like that. That was good. Let's see. Thank you, Chris. Everybody thanking Mark. Thank you, Mark, for that coming on. Let's see. Thanks, Walt. I will write things down next time, I promise. Anyway, let's see. Let's see. Mr. Michael's popped into the studio, so whenever you're ready, you know what? Let's bring him in. Let's bring him in here. There he is.
Hey.
How you doing, bud? So everybody, this is Michael. He when I was talking about earlier, this is I had to buy another one though, but this is something I got from his Etsy shop a long time ago, and I had to get another one because I already placed. Actually, I got two of these a while ago, and I already placed two of them somewhere, so I had to place another one. But also a while ago too. This is like well before I even did the Goonies though. But I got some Goondock fail kids, and we're gonna put some stuff up on we're gonna put some stuff up on the screen too to show his shop. But if you guys can see some of these, there you go. And so I got 3 more coming, and right now I got all the rest of them, right? So these are awesome. The front and back, they're really cool, unique. If you remember the Garbage Pail Kids, man, these are just so well done. I got to know about these, where did this come from?
Yeah, so I grew up obsessed with Garbage Pail Kids. I was into them way longer than most people my age. And they were part of the reason I wanted to become an artist, between these and, Mad Magazine and all that stuff. So once I got my career off the ground, I ended up getting on board with Topps. Yeah, there you go. I worked for Topps for a little while, and I did some Garbage Pail Kids. I worked on a lot of sketch sets and other properties for Topps and stuff. But I just started coming up with my own, just doing my own Garbage Pail Kid, themed cards. And I did the Bone Organ one first, and I shared it online, and everybody went nuts. And I thought, well, maybe I should just keep these going. And I put a set out. I think I've sold, almost 400 of those sets at this point. So
that's so cool.
I took a ton of them with me to Astoria, probably about 60 sets or so, and sold out of them. I couldn't believe it. So,
which is funny that we were both there at the market, and Deb, knew we were both so busy we didn't even get an opportunity to friggin' walk over to the other person's shop, and we were probably 15, 20 feet away from each other.
Yeah, I never left my table the whole time.
I went to try to eat a sandwich, and I ate 3 bites, and then I had to go back over.
Yeah, that was crazy. I've never had a show like that. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was so much fun. No, I also wanted to, and I did. This is going to be part of this my mail call, having you on here too, because I don't really get mail too often. But I also gave him a picture too, because I wanted to be able to show it to everybody a little bit better. But we got a better picture. I'm going to show you guys. Okay, so this is what I got in the mail from Michael. So Johnny, throw that bad boy up there, the other picture, so everybody can kind of see it. This thing. Oh, I had it upside down. Sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
This thing is awesome, you guys. This thing. If you want something to commemorate the 40th, right? Just the idea of having this cool, Willie $40 bill type of 40th anniversary meets in Sloth We Trust, Never Say Die. There's so many just little cool Easter egg things on here. You have Astoria, Oregon in there. You right? You got your signature on there. You have Haystack Rock. It's such a cool idea. Even the serial number, right? The Goon are good enough. 1632, right? The balloon. Everything. It's such a great. So how'd you come up with this? This is.
Yeah. So basically, I did. I came up with a poster for the 30th. That was the first time I went to Astoria. It was a big hit. It was great. So then I came up with one for the 35th. I had those ready to go, and then COVID hit, and that one was kind of out. So when the 40th came around, I wanted to do another one, but I have just been slammed with work. I didn't really have, the time to put together like a full poster. I do a lot of Frisbee golf, disc golf stuff. So I had already done this artwork for one of these Frisbees. I don't know if you can see that there.
I did see that. Somebody sent that either to me or in a group or something, and I was like, what? I need that.
Yeah, I had 75 of those made, and they sold out like instantly. So
that is so cool.
So I already had the art done, and then I was trying to think. I'm like, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go to Astoria or not, because I wasn't hearing back from the people that were putting on the event. I didn't know if they were even going to have a vendor set up there. So it was kind of last minute. It was like, yeah, we're doing it. Come on up. So I was like, oh, what am I going to put together? And I don't know, the dollar bill. I was like, it'd be cool to just do some dollar bills, and I get the little plastic dollar bill holders, and it worked out perfect. So yeah, they were
that last minute always kind of does work like that. It was same thing for us when we went. It was I had planned to go down there, but my Etsy shop went up a month before the 40th, and then it was like the week before I paid the money for the booth or for the area. It wasn't like planned. It was like, what are we gonna do? What should we do? And then it was like, well, we'll do this, we'll put this stuff out there, and it's like, let's see. I don't know what to expect. And man, like you said,
Yeah, it was
huge.
it was a mad dash. The last couple weeks before the show, I was doing all these like hand-drawn sketches on brown paper bags and making them look like treasure maps, burning the edges of them and doing all this stuff. I do this thing with Crown Royal bags where I do like a hand-sketched, custom thing on those. And I think I did like
awesome.
I did like 10 of those. And I mean, I sold everything I took up there. It was awesome. So
that is really cool, man. Yeah, I love hearing things like that, bro. Like that, and somebody said something, and I didn't know that you were even like down there until I was down there, right? And then of course, like like we both said, we got busy, doing that. But man, because I'm such a huge Back to the Future fan, right? So when I got that, I thought that was the coolest thing. So with that whole zero place, so I actually, Johnny, put that back up there for me on the screen for the Back to the Future. So I just got the artwork approved on there and stuff like that. And I have somebody that might do some like my 40th coins for like the Goonies. They're going to do some Back to the Future, little 40th anniversary, right? Some coins on there and stuff. So I might just do like 100 of those and just kind of just get them until they're gone. When they're gone, they're gone, right? But just to kind of do a nice little Back to the Future, because that is, I mean, that's one of my big loves too with the Goonies as well. And when I first saw, when I went on Etsy to look for Back to the Future stuff, and I saw that, I was like, this is awesome. I have one on my vehicle. I like, where else can I put this sticker? I actually almost thought about reaching out, going, hey, can you make me a car decal for this? Like that would be cool too.
Good.
But yeah, no, man, I got to thank you for coming on and being able to do that. I want to,
of course.
Everybody, Michael's gonna post his link also in there too. So click on that and save it in there, so you guys can take a look later at his stuff as well. And it's on the screen as well. But no, man, I thank you for sending that. And man, I look forward to getting those last 3. I've had this stack, and I didn't even know that those 3 were there was extra. And I saw them, and when I saw them, I opened this up, and I was like, because it's just like right there on my shelf. I opened it up, and I was like, wait a minute. That's when I reached out to you. I'm like, wait a minute, there's more?
Yeah, the plan is to just add a few here and there to come up with some ideas. I've got a few more ideas.
Keep the ideas coming, bro, because you got some great ideas. Well, man, this is awesome. Thank you for coming on and doing my first little solo podcast, my first little roll call with your merch and things. So yeah, awesome, brother. Well, hey man, I'm gonna stay in touch and reach out to you because I got some other things I want to talk to you about, and I'll probably have you on the podcast again too because I wanna talk more ideas with you.
Yeah, hit me up.
Awesome, brother.
All right.
Thank you so much, man. Awesome, everybody. I don't know, Johnny. Let's see. I did send a couple out, and Chris, if you're here, let's see if you want to jump on too. Let's see. Whoops. Oh yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm catching up, guys. I'm catching up on the reading. Sorry about that. And Walt, I'm also reaching out to as many people as I can find that might have gotten double coins to try to see if I can't help you get a coin as well. Oh my gosh, Donald, if you do a desktop version of a working Rube Goldberg machine, bro, that would be amazing. That would be truly amazing. That'd be really cool. Let's see. I did, Walt. You were, yeah. When I got that other sticker, I gave you one of those other stickers. So when I looked for another sticker and I thought I had it, I was like, oh, that's right. I gave it to Walt. I almost came over just to unstick it. Just joking. Let me scroll down here. I'm so behind on some of these. Sorry about this, everybody. Perfect. Michael also put his shop that's on there too as well. Everybody, you guys got to check it out. I mean, it's pretty amazing. I mean, check out my shop too. But he has amazing artwork, and it's really cool. He was talking also. My friend Tori dropped this by after work. It is a whoops. I don't know if you can see it. There we go. It is a new Mad magazine dedicated to the 80s. And there is a little part in the bottom that says that features, you know, E.T., Top Gun, you know, Cabbage Patch, you know, Kids, Alf. But it also does the Goonies. They call them the Goofies, and they do one of those mad little, Mad, you know, how Mad Magazine does their stuff. And if you don't know Mad Magazine, then definitely check it out. But some of the artwork is actually pretty cool for that. So you can kind of see some of the strip. So anyway, pretty cool. I like it. I've been reading through it a little bit and stuff. I do want to, I know some people, Mario, I did send that link to you, Chris. I sent the link to you. So if you guys are there and able to come in, let me know. I'm going to just to not be alone right now. I'm going to bring Daryl in, and Daryl's going to help me do a little mail call. There's my boy Daryl. That's my mini me.
Hey, so real quick, you were talking to Mike.
Cut him out. Cut him out. Cut him off. Get him off. No real quicks. Johnny, get him out of here.
So yeah, I love Michael's stuff. I'm a disc golfer.
Yeah, there it is.
I've got some of his discs. I've got that one. Got that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I got the highly sought after 75.
That's the one I'll be stealing checking out from you someday.
But yeah, I've got a bunch of his.
That's awesome.
I love his stuff so much.
No, man, I really wish I could have got over there and seen him. I did get over to Jack before he left and got a chance to talk with him for a little bit and stuff. And he was like, "You're pretty busy over there." I was like, "I know. I don't even know why." You know, like it was like crazy busy. But
I barely made it to his spot. Like I made it like right when he was getting ready to close up shop. And of course, you know, anything I wanted was already long gone.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I went out, me and Dallas was looking for him. And then I kind of knew where he was at. I knew where he was at. So I hooked up with Dallas and we ran and found him. Yeah. Like right before he closed.
Yeah, I know. Everybody was kind of packing up their stuff, and yeah. Tom, the producer, Tom, he was walking over and stuff, and so he kind of introduced me, and we were all talking for a second. He had to get back to it, and then when he introduced me to his son, I was like, "That's his son." I'm like, "This guy has been around doing this for such a long time," and if people don't know, like he is the thought and the mind and stuff, especially from like the Goonies. You know, like if it's something that he could draw or figured out, it's something that they would create. And I thought that was an amazing thing to see some of those pictures and stuff. I wanted to throw these out there a little bit too. It was kind of cool. Mario gave me a little postcard here. You got, yeah. Oh, I don't know. There's a wicked glare. There we go. There it is. Yeah, buddy. So I thought that was really awesome. And he gave me a little, you know, just a brief on the back, right? Just an opportunity to be able to show his appreciation and stuff like that. And it was really cool. I mean, I met Mario up at the when we were getting ready to do the tour of the house and things like that, you know, and then we just ran into each other like so many different places down there, kind of like Daryl and I did as well. And Daryl and Jason and myself kind of always found ourselves in the same area at the same time. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, mine says something about you're so good looking, and so I can't remember.
I ran into him randomly at Astoria Brewing Company. I don't even know what I was running. Oh, I think I was running in there to eat lunch, and all of a sudden there he is, just like this golden guy, like standing in front of all the merch, and I was like, "Oh my God, Mario, what is up?" Like it was wild. Right.
I didn't get a chance to go there, and I really wanted to. We went to the Rogue, and that was pretty good. The Rogue Brewing and stuff like that. We got some of these. I'm going to throw these up there on the screen. Johnny's going to put these up there.
I recognize that. What is that?
So this is Tupa's. This is Breaking Bad.
Who are those from?
Christopher Tupa.
Okay, I recognize those. I don't
Yeah.
know.
And so he sent me these, and these I got the little Goonies. This is the one side of them, right? So he's got a little Star Wars there, and he got the Breaking Bad, and then the Goonies, and then there's the other side of it on two of them, the Breaking Bad and the Goonies. There's another one that shows the Goonies as Ghostbusters. Well, there it is. And then the Breaking Bad side, which is kind of cool too. But he's got so like Sloth up there and right all the Goonies. It's kind of a cool Mama Fratelli's Slimer. But no, just great artwork and awesome. And it was just awesome being able to get this. It's kind of like that never-ending 40th, right? Being able to get some of this kind of stuff in and being able to see this and get that from people has been awesome. I mean, I have just my little Sloth, right? I got my doubloon, my copper bones, just always kind of chilling here. It's sort of like if I sit down, I just want to be able to see it over and over again.
Where can you find Tupa's stuff at?
I was going to have him come on so he could see if there was if he had a site, but I sent him the link, and I'm not sure. I thought he was in here. No, he hasn't looked at it. It was 20 minutes ago I sent it to him, but he hasn't looked at it yet. So maybe he had something going on. I thought he was in there, but we got tied up at work.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So tied up at work, so that's okay. And then Mario has his son doing some sports that he's kind of been back and forth with and stuff like that too. But yeah. So no, that's been really cool. And I was actually, now that I got you in here, Daryl, we should send I'm gonna send Donald Dean a link. Donald, if you're in here, I'm gonna send you the link and go ahead and click on that, and then Johnny will bring you in as soon as you're ready. Also, Walt, do me a favor, Walt. I'm gonna have Walt come in too in a little bit.
Thank you.
He does. So Daryl, when I bring Walt in after Donald, he does. He has a huge comic book collection that he's done. He's been selling stuff or whatever, right? But he does a lot of like Comic Cons and shows where he goes and meets with the artists, knows the artists, and he'll give you the story that's better than my story. But he started with Post-its, right? And the Post-its were, there you go. There we go. Yeah, nice. Now I see some more of them, and I'm like, okay, now I got to see some. I got to get some more of those. But no, so he does. He used to have Post-its, and he used to go to different artists, right? So like, somebody who, let's say, is an artist that does stuff with Spider-Man or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or something, right? How easy is it to ask them, hey, could you draw a picture of this? Cool. But what he does is he basically says, here's a 3x3, right? Mm-hmm. And whatever you want, whatever you're feeling, right? And he has got such a huge amount of artwork of 3x3s from some of like world-renowned like artists and people that have worked not just with comic books but like graphic design artists and like different like what do you call them, the books, graphic novels and stuff like that. And things like that. So I'm going to have him come on here too. If Donald doesn't come in, then I can have him come next too. But yeah, but it's 9 Square Inches is his website, and just some of the amazing artwork. Hey Johnny, see if you can bring up the www.9squareinches, and we can maybe pop that up on the screen too. Yeah, I wanted Donald to come in. I know that we tried to get him last week, but it kind of got a little out of hand when it came to that kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Walt, there you go. There's the link, Walt. We'll see who gets in first, you or Donald.
It's a race.
It's a race, yeah. Whoever gets in first.
I wanted to so Michael actually I'm still collecting stuff for Data's family. Little Apollo, and Michael actually sent me one of the 40th anniversary bills for them and personalized it, said, hey, thanks for bringing so many smiles to the community and stuff. So I thought that was
so awesome, man. That's so cool.
Really cool stuff for them. I don't want to reveal everything here just in case they happen to see this, because I am friends with them, but they don't, I think they're kind of humble and they don't really like delve into every single little aspect of the community. So I'm hoping they don't see these podcasts, but I do talk to them from time to time, and I will see them on the 19th.
On the 19th?
Yeah, though they're coming into town on the 19th.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, super weird. Yeah, just say she was like, I see her in Sacramento.
It was just by chance, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was so weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to wait for them, or you want to do like some mail call stuff, or?
let's do yeah, Walt, jump in whenever you get that link, and go ahead and click on that when you're ready. Yeah, let's do some mail call stuff, bud.
Okay. So, have you talked to Troy? Have you talked to Troy at all about his stuff that he was giving out?
Oh, wait, no, I did see that. You got one? Nice.
Yeah, I got one of
Hell
these.
yeah.
He sent me some other stuff too.
I'm gonna go there here soon, so he can take me on a little ride in the Fratelli Jeep, and I want to be gnawing on that little saltine.
Yeah, how far? Are you like 20
minutes? 10 minutes?
10 minutes? That's so
You're so jealous, aren't you? I'm 2.5 hours away from the store. 10 minutes from the Fratelli Jeep. I know.
You're
prime location. Prime location.
So he sent me some other little stuff. This was one of the photos that he was going to use for his album.
Oh yeah.
And then he's got like little behind the scenes photos of the original movie.
That's cool.
That he sent me. But yeah, for sure, that was one of the things I got. And then if I guess he's not in the chat today, but I was going to show him this. This was one of my more recent purchases that I found online.
Dude, that's awesome. I haven't even seen that.
Custom Hot Wheels thing.
Oh, that is really cool.
The only one I've seen out there. I don't know if there's.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything like that. Not for the G. I saw one. No, I don't even think I've seen the Hot Wheels like Jeep like one that you can buy that's actually labeled as like one of the movie ones.
No, I don't think.
I have a bunch of them.
They do. I think they do have the Jeep out there, but not labeled as like the Goonies Jeep.
Yeah, and I do because I have they're over there, but they're like from Back to the Future, right? So they have different ones. Like they have like the Toyota. Then they have like Biff's car, but they're like movie scene ones. So they give you, it's like 1 out of 10, 4 out of 10, where it's like a different DeLorean, right? Yeah. So it's like one from Back to the Future 2, one from the first one, things like that. So they were like a Hot Wheels thing that they did for like movies and stuff. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing.
So Kelly asked how long the GoFundMe is going. It's going to go up until the 19th. I'm gonna take stuff up. I want to fulfill that full amount, and then I'll still be taking other donations. You want to like send me something to give to them or whatever, I'm going to hand everything to them in person and kind of tell them who it's from and all that stuff. So
put that link in there in the comments, Daryl.
Okay.
Yeah, put that when you get a chance to put that in there so people can see that way. That way, everybody in the chat can actually just click on that link.
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. And let's see here. And I was going to try to see if Dave wanted to come in too and see if he wanted to come in here.
Oh, is he
Walt popped in. Yeah, so I put it into the chat for Dave to jump in. So we'll see if he's available. I know he was working multiple spots and he was shorthanded today. But yeah, let's bring Walt in. My boy Walt.
What's up, Walt?
Peace.
What's happening, bud?
How's it going?
Pretty good. I like that you put your 9 square inches in your like that's your nickname for a second. That's a big square inches for you, bud.
A lot of people get the idea wrong just by seeing the name, but
right. I
have to explain it. No, it's 3 inches times 3 inches, which is 9 square inches.
Oh, hey, everybody in the chat. Daryl put in there the GoFundMe on there for the link for that. So definitely click on that. You can check out the family and kind of what we're trying to do for that. And then also, yep, perfect. There it is.
Almost there.
Yep. And I want to thank people for donating and trying to help that out and stuff, because I saw them down there. I just didn't. I saw little Data. Man, he is the cutest.
There's I got to get that video. There's a, I think did I mention it last time? There's a video of him where in the under the grate thing, where they were printing out the $50 bills.
Oh yeah.
Like he printed out his Data $50 bill and he pulled the line out and he was like, $50 bill. So funny. I got to get that video.
That is awesome.
but it was like, yeah, they were like, this is mandatory. He has to do this. So he did.
Right.
It's hilarious.
Hey, Walt, I'm gonna put yours in the chat really quick.
What's that?
Hold on. Your I'm gonna put your link, and then do me a favor, Johnny, pull that one back up again. Oh shoot, I typed it in the wrong thing. I got too many chats open up right now. So, somebody just got that. They make it the wrong idea getting that
stuff online.
They're like, why is
we've all
Dustin
seen
sending
them.
this? Oh, hey, Johnny, apparently I don't have access to apparently put in the link. I don't even know. So, Walt, give me a little backstory about how this just kind of got started a little bit, and just a little bit in the proper words, your words about your site.
Yeah, sure. So if you scroll down to, well, these are alphabetical, and you might not know who the names are, but I used to collect, back in the 90s, I used to collect drawings from comic book artists of someone or something on a cliff. And I got one from Paul Pope, who, if any comic fans are out there, they know who Paul Pope is, but he's worked on a lot of stuff for DC. He's done Batman. He's done his own THB. But he did this one. In fact, I think if you go to like the About page, or it should have that one drawing he did for me. So most of the drawings I was getting were of someone or something on a cliff, and they'd be like, 9x12 or 11x17. And so I bring in this paper, and I say, hey man, I love your work. I'd like to get a cliff drawing from you. And it's anything you want, someone or something on a cliff. And so on this huge piece of paper, he drew this 3x3 square, and then did this tiny little drawing, which to me is like an awesome just summary of storytelling. Like, what is this guy doing? He's like, looks like a traveler with a stick and a hat, sitting on top of a mountain, like he's just had a big journey. And I was like, so much can be put into such a small space. I want to see what other artists can do with this. And so that's how this started. And that was, I think, 1998. My glasses are not powerful enough to read my own screen there, but so, there you go. Thanks.
Walt's like, when did my idea begin?
Yeah. So, and then it kind of sat there for like, I don't know, 15 years ish. And then I was like, I'm going to ask other people too. So I started going back to shows and collecting, and this is the result of that. If you look on, I think, the home page, there's about 400 new drawings since then. That's one of the things I'm hoping to get. There were some very cool local artists in Astoria that I'm going to be reaching out to see if they want to add a piece to my collection. This guy here, Mannix, he did 6 sequential pieces that are all 3" by 3" just to tell a story, which was pretty cool.
That's awesome. And I've been a part of that too when we did the SummerCon last year and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Being able to see, the process and talking to people and showing them the artwork and these artists that are, they're doing the artwork, right? Like that's their craft. And to have them see your book, right? Have them see the book, or to pull up your website on their phone or something like that and see that, and then be pointing people out like, oh my God, they did that for you. Oh, they did. And they're scrolling through the artwork to look, and very well received when it comes to that from the artist. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. And, the size of the artwork is not intimidating, right? If you hand somebody a big sketchbook or a big sheet of paper, mm-hmm. They might be like, oh, this is going to take me a while. But with a 3x3 square, they can put as much or as little detail as they want into it. And if you look through, some of those have just a tremendous amount of detail. There's a oil painting, or I think it's a watercolor painting by Ray Lago of Toriel from The Hobbit. And if you look at that, there's no way you would believe that was just 3" by 3".
Yeah, you would think it was like something shrunk down from a full canvas or something, right?
Yeah,
Because
yeah, and I feel bad making them strain their eyes to do such awesome work, but man,
like,
some people really get a
let
kick
me
out of
paint this really quick,
it.
right?
There
And
is
you
a
don't
Goonies
realize how
piece
big
on
that
there
is.
too.
Yeah, very
Yeah,
very small. Like that's not a very big. I think about when I draw. Like I mean, yeah, that's just the size of it. I wouldn't even know how to get the detail that a lot of them have gotten into, because there's some of those ones that you have that they didn't just. It wasn't just a pencil drawing. I mean, it was pencil, and then they did the marker around it to line it, and then they did the colored pencils, or it's like,
I've got
are you
one.
serious?
A couple of them, right? My lighting is not great, but I don't know if that's too clear, if that's clear or not. But that's a little painting.
Is that the
That's K2SO from, I think, Rogue One. There's a second one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
see, like just the color and the detail and on that size, it's crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, it's a lot of fun. I enjoy. That's why I mentioned when Michael was on, I was like, "Ooh, I wonder if Michael wants to do a 3x3."
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think he should. I think no, seriously, I think now that you're saying that, I think that would be a great thing for him to be able to do. I mean, being a Garbage Pail Kid guy, right, and then being able to work on that for tops and stuff, I think that would be
sweet.
Yeah, see, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I just love seeing.
He has the 9 inches squared, Michael, but mine is 4x4 foot canvas squared. So that's what I would like for one. I'll buy you the canvas.
I think, you know what, I just now thought about this. I was trying to figure out, eventually I'm going to get sleeved up tattoo. I think I mentioned that before, but I think I'm going to have Michael draw that up for me. I'm going to have him commission that, because why not? If I'm going to have something done, I want to also like have the person that I love attached to it. You know what I mean? Like, I love Michael's artwork, so I might as well have him draw it up for me. Because I know I can trust him too. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm gonna have him commission that.
That's
hell yeah. Well, on that note too, we got Donald Dean in the queue, ready to come in. I think we should bring him in here.
Yep, let's go.
Where's he at? There's Donald.
Hey, Donald. What's up, man?
Hey.
How you doing?
I've been talking to Donald here for a minute, trying to get him in last week, and then kind of got away from us a little bit. So I want to make sure to get him in. And then I was trying to send you the link, get you in here too. And I was like, oh shoot, is he not in here anymore?
Yeah, no, I had to bounce in and out a little earlier, but yeah, no, I'm here.
Hell yeah, brother. Well, hey man, tell us a little bit about yourself for the people in the chat and stuff like that too, because I want to, you've already put it down there in the bottom, but some people might not know exactly what that is.
Yeah, no, I'm just another Goonie, just another guy. I was I'm a full-time prop maker, and I was honored enough to be able to be chosen to do the Rube Goldberg contraption for the Goonies house, recreate that, and get that work with Damon Crow. Yeah, it's just such an honor to be able to work on a project like that. It's pretty cool.
Hell yeah. No, and being able to see that in person, oh my gosh. That was probably one of the biggest highlights of the whole, the whole Goonie house and stuff. That's exactly what you think of when you think of the Goonies house, right? Like you don't get in without doing the truffle shuffle and having Mikey pull that up and do that. So being able to see that there for the first time, I was like, who did this? Like I got to friend this person. I got to figure this out.
Yeah, it took quite a bit of research, quite a bit of trial and error. Me and Damon worked on that behind the scenes for the better part of 2 years to bring that together and make sure that actually worked the way that it was depicted in the movie. Because it took, I believe we counted 16 separate cuts for the film to get that to actually run. So getting it to run consecutively through and through was magic in and of itself. But I think the reason why the Rube Goldberg stands out so much for people is just because it's the first magical moment in the Goonies, right? It's like, it's the first, like, wow, it kind of hooks you in. Yeah, it's such a cool thing.
Right. It's like that main kind of introduction to each one of the characters, and then that finale at the end is basically, bringing in Chunk.
Yeah, what's crazy
man, that's
is actually how difficult it was to actually make it all work. In sync. It was kind of tricky to do. Not gonna lie. We did take some liberties here and there. Obviously, we didn't use a real chicken. I built a pneumatic robotic chicken that was had a speaker and all that. So we cheated a little bit, but it was cool to bring it all back together.
You got to cheat a little bit to make that magic happen, And also, is it? You said with the difficulties and stuff. Is it also like the? Because they did it in so many different. You know what, Donald? Screw you, Donald.
If he can't use a real chicken, then
yeah. I guess if he can't use a real chicken, Johnny was just like, "See ya, Donald. You're out of here." So Johnny had enough. Johnny was like, "Real chicken or no chicken?" Let's see if we can get Donald back in here. We'll bear with us, everybody.
While we're padding for him, so this right here, this is a hand-drawn map by Donald that I had the cast members sign. He hand drew everything on this map.
Whoa!
And then
sorry about that.
No, you're good. You're good. We were just poking fun at the fact that you were not in here anymore.
I got your map.
Daryl's showing your map.
Oh yeah. So funny enough, I'm actually sitting here right now working on another one of those. So this is I don't know if you can even really see it super clear, but so I do these all hand drawn. I use like an accurate, inkwell dip pen, like a calligraphy pen to do them. I have a few different pens here, but the one that I'm making right now is actually for a gentleman in the group. His name is Manny. He lives up there, I believe, in Oregon as well. But these are definitely fun.
Yeah, we know.
You should do like a 3-inch by 3-inch map. I think that would be pretty cool.
I mean, you could. It would just be. You'd have to obviously eliminate some of the detail.
It would just be like the corner. It doesn't even have to be the whole map. It would just be like 3-inch corner of the map.
Just a little corner of it,
or even like the center, like the compass.
Mm-hmm.
It's Manny Scott, right? That's who you're talking about?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's this one here is actually my master. This is so when I offer these for people, I always give them the option to either get a scanned, printed version or a hand drawn version. So when they do the scanned version, this is the blank that I use for that scan. It's got the music notes on the back. And I do either a 600 or 1200 DPI scan of it, and then print that out, and then I go back and weather it and age it and all that. But the one that I'm doing for Manny is actually a little bit larger than this one. So this one here is about 12 and a half or so by, I want to say, 20. The one that I'm doing for him is actually more accurate to the movie. I believe it's 22 wide and 14 tall. So, a little bit bigger.
That's cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And what other props do you make too? Like for the Goonies?
Yeah, so this is also going to Manny. This is his copper bones.
Hell yeah.
Another, cord. And this is made out of pewter, so it is actually metal. Tap on it.
Got a key.
Yep. So pretty cool. Looks all weathered and aged. I do all the weathering on these. I actually do a real patina, a real chemical force patina on them, and then go back and just add some dirt and grime and make it look the part, and then do a few layers of clear coat, matte clear coat. Seals it all in there, make sure nothing like rubs off on your skin when you're holding it or anything. But this thing weighs probably, I don't know, 1.5 pounds, maybe, I'd say.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, they're pretty hefty.
Because that's probably about the weight of mine that I had. I got this from Daryl knows Nash Props on Etsy.
Yeah, Nash is
2
great.
years,
So I
3
was
years
actually the one. I was the one who taught him how to do casting of pewter.
He
Yeah, I
he
mentioned that
he
before.
told me that too.
Yeah.
Well, I translated it after he sent it to me on Etsy. He wants to try to come out next year.
I
Yeah,
tried
he's
to
a
get him out.
great guy.
I tried to get him out to the 40th. He really wanted to, but he couldn't make it happen.
I got one more thing I can show you guys. Hold on. This is kind of cool.
Yes, please.
If Donald, do you want to share your site too? Like, if you look at his site with all of his other props, he's got some insane stuff on there. Like, he's got some insane saw stuff, and it's pretty extensive, like crazy stuff.
So here's one of the doubloons. These are also cast out of pewter. Kind of weathered and tarnished. Looks good. But I also have one of these around. This is, as we all know, Mom's favorite piece.
Oh yeah. Oh,
So
love
it does have the magnetic piece, so you can flip it.
it.
Is that the? I assume because it's you, that's the proper size, right?
No, this one is actually a little bit smaller. So this one is about 15 or maybe 16 inches tall. Actually, I'm going for Dave up in Astoria at the museum. He has he went with screen accurate size, so his is 22 inches tall.
Okay.
Which I have that out in the garage right now. But yeah, no, these are a lot of fun. So I try to get these statues whenever I see them online, like at either real estate or like estate sales or auctions or anything like that. If they're cheap, I'll grab them and then modify them, do the whole thing, and then just hold on to them because I'm sure somebody's going to want this guy eventually.
So you
Dustin?
modify the crotchal area?
Yeah. So it's kind of bizarre, but like
there was a random like conversation. I don't even remember where I saw that, but they were talking about how you do that. How can you do that? And
yeah, I mean, it's kind of tricky. I'm not going to lie. So this is I embed a magnet, right? But to actually get that piece, because in reality, if this were to fall off of a table, right, it's not the parts that are going to touch the ground. It's not going to. That's the least likely spot to break, right? So what I do is I use a very, very small, right? I use very, very small drill bit, and I just go in from the sides and just essentially perforate around and then break off very carefully, and then go back and add in the little magnets, so that it can be either orientation, pre-break or post-break.
yeah, because there's no room for error in that, man. If you accidentally shatter it or something, there's no coming back from that.
Right. So
there's no coming at all after that.
I wasn't gonna go there, but
right.
It's my show. No worries.
When I first started doing these and I was kind of concerned about that, I actually came up with an idea. So I started using 2-part silicone putty that you can like mix and then make a mold and it'll cure. I would use that to actually create a negative mold of, his goods before I go and do any, changes or alterations to it, so that in worst case scenario, it does shatter, does break apart, whatever. Then I can always just cast another one out of white resin and be good to go.
Smart.
Can you just make that piece with a magnet on the back for people's fridges?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you show your wife whichever way it's pointed is what mood you're in. I don't know.
Or if you like,
this is how I'm feeling today.
You just walk in and just pick it up off the floor and you're like, I'll go do the dishes.
And then she turns it down.
Yeah, no, I like that.
Oh, that's great.
Donald, do you want to throw up your site or put out your site? Like, you can throw that to Johnny. Johnny can put it up, like where all your props are.
Yeah. Or you can, if you just put it in the comments, that'll bring it up so actually people can click on the link though too, and then Johnny can.
I'm not really sure how to do that. I know I've sent you the link. You should have it in your chats.
Let me see that real quick.
So, Daryl, this was something I was going to bring up to you because I think I have 4 of these, and these are I mean, you kind of have to take my word for it, but these are totally legit. These are real eggs that were used in the build and the testing and everything of the Rube Goldberg. So these are wooden eggs.
You don't have to ask me.
I have 3 or 4 of these from the house I brought back with me, and I was thinking about doing something cool with these, some sort of little COA numbered thing, and maybe raffling them off or putting them up on the group or something.
Give me all the raffle tickets and I'll definitely give 2 of those out.
Cool. I just didn't know if that would be something anybody would even be interested in. You know what I mean? Because it's not necessarily from the film, but it is from the restoration. It is from the TV show. So
yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. No, that'd be hella cool. I actually thought kind of about doing that. I was kind of like thinking about doing getting more people on, getting more people to share and stuff like that, but also doing giveaways and stuff like that too. People being in the chat and stuff like that. People getting an opportunity to go on our Etsy sites or go on places, Daryl, they see the stuff that you have as well, and I know there's a lot of people out there that even, I know Jesse, when he did the thing with that Troy and I did the fundraiser, he had a Mikey signed Funko Pop and he gave it away. I even told him, I was like, if we pick a winner, can we pick somebody that doesn't want it so they might give it to me or sell it to me? I was like, I signed Mikey Funko Pop. I'm all over that, right? But it was crazy to see how many people there were wanting to be a part of that. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to be able to have people do some maybe giveaway stuff, do some raffle stuff. Maybe we can pick some cool charitable type stuff. Even have people donate towards that and stuff like that, and then do a little raffle or something. I don't know.
I don't know what straight out of the rules are with that, but.
Yeah. Hey, Gail brought up a good point. Can you give us a little bit of your backstory with your attachment to the house?
Yeah. So, I'm post Goonies. I was actually born in '92. But it's been a staple for me my whole life. It's one of my favorite films. Between Indiana Jones, The Goonies, and Indian in the Cupboard, I would say are probably my my favorites. So
what was the third one after Indiana Jones? I'm sorry.
Indian in the Cupboard.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
It's great. It's an ILM masterpiece. It's really good. If you like the Goonies, you'd like it. But no, when I saw an article, I was just on my Google, and I saw an article pop up saying that the house was listed for sale. I thought to myself, wow, this is not going to last long. Somebody's got an awesome opportunity here, And lo and behold, about a week later, I saw another article on the same site that showed that it was sold, but that the owner was staying anonymous until the deal was completely done. So I continued to read the article, and it explained how he was a hardcore Goonies fan, and he wanted to restore the house back to what it was in the film, and this, that, the other. And being a prop maker and just being, obsessed with the Goonies, I thought, this is an awesome opportunity. I'm going to reach out to him, but I didn't know his name. It wasn't in the article, so I figured I would reach out to the real estate agent. I shot him an email and just said, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is what I've done, with some, examples of my work, and just let him know that if they needed any help to reach out. And I honestly never expected anything to come of it. It was just one of those, reaching.
Shot in the dark.
Yeah, shot in the dark, totally. And I never did end up hearing back from the real estate agent, but about a month after I sent that email, I got a call from Bayman. I didn't answer it because I didn't know the number, but he left me a voicemail, thank God. And I listened to the voicemail. He was like, hey, this is Bayman Zachary. I'm the owner of the Goonies house. Just got your information from the real estate agent and wanted to talk to you about, possibly helping out with this. And I hung up immediately and called him back. And that was, I want to say that was on a Tuesday or maybe a Wednesday in January of 2023. That Friday, he flew me up there. Like it was that fast. It was the same week. So I flew up to Portland, and actually on my way, my flight stopped in LA, and we planned this out so that Damon Crowe, which I didn't know him at the time, was going to board my flight essentially. So we stopped to pick up Damon, and his seat was next to mine. So we, met on the plane. We pulled out a notebook and just got to work, started, coming up with ideas and trying to figure out how we were actually going to make this thing happen. And then, we got up to Astoria, stayed there for 4 days doing like preliminary stuff, obviously meeting Bayman and Liz and getting measurements and, just doing what we could in the moment. And then, yeah, we left Astoria, went back to our homes. I live in Vegas. He lives in LA. And we just started working on it, started putting stuff together and kind of making all the pieces kind of work.
How long did the whole process take to make the actual machine that's there in the front yard right now?
Oh, like on site? I was up there for I want to say like 15 days, 16 days, something like that.
Oh, geez. Okay.
So it was literally crunch time. So like the night that I left, or the morning that I left, I had to leave Astoria to catch my flight at like 6 a.m. or something like that. I had to start driving. I was actually at the Goonies house until about 11 or 11:30 the previous night, just hammering away, making sure that it was solid and it was going to be good to go. Because I knew that I wasn't going to be back up there for the 40th, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you bring all the pieces there, or did you build it on site? Did you like have everything in a box and you just shipped it up or carried it
Actually,
up?
Dave was a godsend. I ended up shipping him a box of parts and pieces and stuff that I knew that I wasn't going to be able to acquire in Astoria. There's some stuff that's specialty stuff, whether it was like pneumatic components or motors or whatever. So I figured the best bet was to have somebody in Astoria receive the package, and Dave was totally willing to do that. So I sent him a pretty good sized box with the chicken and everything in it. But as far as the actual like trap goes, or the contraption goes itself, it was pretty much built on site. Like I had to build the chicken coop on site. We built the kick for the football, the whole rail that the bowling ball rolls down. That was kind of a trick in and of itself, getting all that to kind of line up, because there's an extra support beam now that holds up the awning above that section of the front of the house that wasn't there for the filming of the movie. So we kind of had to work around that and make that all work. But yeah, it's definitely cool. A lot of fun.
That's awesome, man.
What's your next project? Are you going to do like the Addams Family house or something?
No. So I don't know. I kind of just take things as they come. I do things on commission, and I'm a, independent contractor, whatever, if you want to call it that. So I just kind of take whatever comes my way. I did do something out here in Vegas not too long ago. It's kind of been an ongoing passion project at this point, but it was a recreation of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror that you would see in like Disneyland.
Not the Guardians of the Galaxy Tower.
I refuse. I refuse to go ride that. I can't do it, man. It's so wrong. But if anybody wants to check that out, you can go to YouTube and type in Tower of Terror Theater, and it'll come right up. There's an entire page dedicated to it. But essentially, what I did was I turned one room of this gentleman's house here in Vegas into the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, and I get goosebumps when I watch the video and I did the work. It's really immaculate. It's incredible. There's pyrotechnics, there's lighting and audio and special effects and projection mapping and holograms. And it really doesn't end. It's pretty cool.
It's so cool.
I like that question on the screen, but I have a follow-up. Are you anticipating having to replace any of the parts that you did or any of the pieces that you did in like 5-10 years?
Obviously it's all going to be subject to the weather. A lot of it is wood. We tried to use a lot of like pressure treated wood or higher quality, oak or something that was going to be a little bit more resilient. And plus everything has at least 1 or 2 good coats of paint on it. So that should kind of keep it, holding up for a while. Now, how long will it actually run for? Like, I doubt you could even go up there and set it up right now and have it run, fluidly. It probably need quite a few little tweaks and stuff to get it to actually work.
They had it working that one morning, and then like after that, when I had talked to you and told you that it was like misfiring, I don't know if they ever got it to work after that again. I don't think that they did either. I don't want to say too much, but I was told that there's actually no existing footage of it working through and through, which is kind of heartbreaking. But we'll see. We'll see what actually happens. I don't know. I don't want to say too much, but Troy's got a question. It says, was not being able to put anything permanently into the ground due to building code
throw any kind of monkey wrench into the. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you can't pound a stake into the ground or any sort of anchors or anything like that deeper than 2 inches without pulling a permit, because the house is on a landslide risk zone. So a lot of it had to be braced off of the house in a way that it was a little bit different than what was seen in the film. But we did our best to make sure that it looked the part, it played the part. And, you know, because you only ever really see it from the front straight on in the movie. So that's really what we were mainly concerned with. I do have kind of an interesting little tidbit about the house, something that, you know, me personally, it's one of my favorite things about working with replicas or, you know, replica sets or props or any of that sort of thing, is you find yourself realizing little details or little methods or just logic that was clearly done for a reason that you would never suspect. You would never even, you'd never think of it on your own. So I don't know if you want to pull up a picture of the front of the house, like just where it shows like the fence and everything, just the whole front. Get that up on the screen. I can show you guys something kind of cool. And this was something I noticed literally the night that I left. So
of the house now.
House now or house then, it doesn't matter. We did a pretty good job of copying it.
Johnny, did you hear that by chance? I know he might be
He's
doing the chat.
feverishly looking through people's pictures.
Right.
Wow, that's a cool shot.
Yeah, that's a good drone. I think that's actually Chris's shot, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, I think Chris hopefully got that. But no, if you're looking at the front of the house, the front gate, actually, I don't know if you can find one quick or not. But anyway, there's a board that's missing. So on the gate that actually opens from the Rube Goldberg, you know, that lets Chunk in, it's vertical slat wood, and one of the slats was missing on the gate, and it just looks normal. I mean, it just looks like a piece of missing wood, and there's a few others that are missing down the length of the fence, so it looks like it matches. But what I found was that's actually there for a reason. So I'm guessing that during production at some point, I don't know if it was maybe one of the grips or one of the, I mean, who knows? It could have been anybody, but somebody pulled that board down off of the fence because it was the only way to relatch the gate with the Rube Goldberg from the outside. And I never noticed it, but as I was leaving that night, the last time I was at the Goonies house, I went to go reach over the gate and like grab the little like wooden stick and like put it back in the lat, and like I physically, you can't reach it. It's just such an awkward like distance. But then I realized, like, wait, this board is missing, and it's literally perfect. It's right where the little wood latches. You reach in, grab it, put it in the little, you know, and it's just so funny to like realize those little details. I absolutely love it.
Oh, there's a good shot. I actually have some. I should have actually thrown those on there too. I have them. They're on my phone, which is what I'm using for a camera and stuff like that. No, Johnny, go back. I want to see the Johnny selfie with the house.
He was pointing at the board.
He was pointing at it. There it is.
Yeah, that's so cool. So cool.
I know. I have so many good shots, like up front, like looking right at the Rube Goldberg machine and the fence line and stuff, especially with the bikes being there. Yeah, that's those bikes.
Yeah, I actually, Gail and I volunteered on one of like the night of the VIP
Saturday night.
And so there's probably a bunch of folks out there in the world that have pictures that were taken by either me or her on the porch, because we did a ton of pictures.
It's funny. I've seen a bunch of stuff pop up on like TikTok and Instagram and stuff of just, you know, fans that came up to the house and just happened to catch me and Damon out front, like building this thing. You know, we're all out there measuring stuff and pointing and like, you know, butt cracks are hanging out. You know, it's a good time.
Oh, that's awesome. That's good dude too.
So
it was so cool seeing it all come together.
One of the other challenges that we kind of ran into as well was just the natural erosion of the hill. There was ground was significantly steeper, and there were pieces that were exposed that weren't obviously exposed when they did the movie. So, like one of the rain gutters that drains, he catches the rain off the roof of the house, runs underground right where the gate actually closes and latches. And that was kind of a battle for us to get that covered up, because in the same way that you can't dig, you're not allowed to add topsoil or gravel and up there, because they don't want to add any weight to the hill. So yeah, there were definitely some tricky issues when it came to like code and stuff, but luckily we were able to make it happen.
I didn't even think about all that. Yeah.
Right. Until you become part of the build stuff, where you don't really think too much into that.
It's coding. Coding's always a bitch.
Yep. And that was something to kind of address one of the questions that came through earlier. Somebody was asking what the long-term plan is for the house as far as like fans access or anything like that. The house is very strictly zoned for residential only. So with that being said, it can never be a museum. It can never be a tourist attraction in that sense. I mean, you guys have been there. There's no room for parking on the hill. It'd be really...
There's no room to go inside. I mean, you couldn't have traffic like that, or it's going to literally ruin it. It's all old school,
the house
original.
1896. So I mean, it's an old house, and it shows it. You know, there's definitely some wear there. So, and at one point, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but at one point, the Goonies house actually caught on fire.
Really?
Yeah. So
I think I've seen some of the stores in town had like, this is a piece from the old Goonies house, because of when the fire, people went up there and just started taking things from it.
Yep. So that was back. Astoria has actually burnt down twice, which is kind of crazy. But I believe one of those, I think it was the second fire, part of the Goonies house was scorched pretty bad. And I found the wood down in the basement, like some of the original wood from the siding of the house that was charred pretty bad. It was all blackened and stuff. I couldn't find any news articles about it. I couldn't find anything, at that point it wasn't the Goonies house, right? It was just another house, but
yeah.
It
was condemned at one point, right? Wasn't it condemned? Was that when it was condemned?
Yeah, I believe so. There was, I know when they came and they scouted it for the movie, they restored it. They did a full renovation on it for the movie. And that was kind of one of the perks that got them to go ahead to use it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then, of course, after the filming, Sandy got it shortly after. And yeah, I mean, the house has definitely seen a long life.
I do consider myself fortunate. I think it was the 20th or 25th when Sandy opened it up to have some folks come inside. Of course, it didn't look anything like the movie, but it was still cool to be like, I'm in the house. And even got to pop my head up into the attic, which again looks nothing like the movie, but it was awesome. Awesome experience even at that phase. So
yeah, when I first went up there in 2023 and got to go through the house, got to check it all out when Bayman first brought me up. At that point, the stairs that go up into the attic, the ladder, was original. Sadly, that all got replaced during the restoration. He kept the original set. They're down in the basement, but those were replaced with a newer, less rickety set. So I can actually say I got the honor to climb the original Goonies steps. It was pretty cool.
That is so cool. How much of the house was actually, to that point when you were there? Was it pretty intact?
Oh, when I was there, I mean, it was completely gutted. I mean, it was just images that you saw when, like, the auction photos or the sale photos when Sandy listed it. It was all done up. It was all painted. It was finished and stuff, but there was no furniture. There was, I mean, for over a year there, I'm pretty sure Bayman was like using a cardboard box as a coffee table. So it was definitely bare, but it was still cool to go and see it and be able to be there.
Yeah.
So kind of a selfish question, I guess, but Walt or Donald, like when you guys got to go in when Sandy was showing off the house, how did that work? Like, because I can't imagine there's so many people. So how, like, not everybody could go in, right? There couldn't be like thousands of people that just went through it, right?
It was if I recall correctly, keep in mind this was a few years ago, but it was a package that you could buy. And it was a group of folks, maybe 5 people at a time. You had to take your shoes off because she did live there. That was her house.
Yeah.
And so you took your shoes off and she would bring you around to all the different places, and then you would, take your pictures, and then you would walk out. So it was cool. I mean, that was the first time I think that was even available to anybody. So of course I had to do that, right?
Right.
It wasn't $2,000, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. I wasn't clear how that worked. I'd heard other people talk about walking through it, and I was like, it couldn't have just been a free for all. It couldn't have just been an open door walking through.
No. Yeah, I think if I remember, it was like 5, maybe. I mean, the line to get up to the attic was probably the longest part, because you have to go up there and then you come back down those rickety stairs. So it was fun.
That's awesome, dude. Thank you, Donald, for coming in here, man, and telling us about the Rube Goldberg and stuff like that, man. And I wanted to, this time with the solo, I wanted to be able to have, people that were kind of a huge part of it. I mean, like, the artwork, the idea of the house, being the rebuild, the Goonies super fans and things like that. I mean, like Daryl, like, you going out there and giving away stuff, I mean, Walt, when you and I talked and stuff like that, you going back, like you said, the 20th, the 25th, things, going back to the Goonies and how long people have been a Goonies fan and things like that, being able to start this podcast, this show, and be able to create it like stemming from the 40th, where so many of us connected, met, reached out to each other, things like that. Michael coming on earlier, and people that are in the chat and things like that. I think it's just been so much fun for me. It's been eye-opening because I'm a closet nerd. Walt's seen my place. I got a lot of stuff that nobody ever gets to see. I got an arcade in my garage that nobody ever gets to play. Like, it's like, not that it's my choice. It's just, people's lives, you get busy, you have things, I mean, if I spread out my shit, it would be its own little museum, arcade type movie, area. And you don't get a chance to see that. And I think that's the main reason why I wanted this to kind of be like more of like a retro style. I want people to come on and take us on a tour of their nerd stuff, right? I want to be able to see the artwork, right? I don't want to have people be afraid to want to come on and ask their questions. I love when people are in the chat and stuff. There you go. But I want to be able to have people be able to share those things that they love. Like earlier Mark was saying, I got stuff. He's got a bunch of stuff, but then you kind of slowly get rid of it because it just sits in the closet or sits somewhere, right? We don't have our YouTube. We don't have like a YouTube channel. We don't have anything. We're not showing off our stuff. I feel there's a walk around. I feel like there's something coming right now.
Well, I've never been.
I want to show you something.
Oh, he's going to show us something. I've never been a collector. Like when I first went to the Goonies house, that made me a collector. Like I wanted to own stuff. Like it's really strange, but yeah, I show no signs of slowing down anytime soon. I'm still.
I wish I had the same.
I'm on my phone for hours, like searching for stuff.
I know. I have it right there. I have. Where's it at?
Eventually, it's going to branch out to all 80s stuff, but right now I'm focused on Goonies.
Oh yeah, for those of you that don't know, for $20 on Facebook Marketplace, right time, right place, you too just might be able to stretch it out a little bit. And I know they're not black. This one, it didn't get much use like the one in the house. Oh, jeez, that's pretty hard. So these are actually just like the ones that are in the house too, because they're the same style, same color. But originally in the movie, they were black. They were all black. So we'll be painting those black. Make those.
And then the coils will be gold.
The princess.
Oh.
Right.
How do you feel right now, Dustin?
Dude,
Did your heart
when he told me about that, and I was like, dude, seriously? Yeah. Don't tell me where you live, because that won't be there tomorrow.
So this is a
giant Boba Fett action figure.
Whoa.
I thought you were going to pull out some Princess of the Bride stuff too.
Oh, that's number. Oh, how many are there? 2021.
What is that?
I believe there were 700.
Duet pie with wobbits. The duet pie with wobbits.
Marriage. Marriage is what brings us together.
Wait, Donald does impressions too?
What? Yeah, I end up I'm that annoying guy watching The Princess Bride, right? So like I end up seeing the anniversary like in the theaters, like when it came back out, and I went with, oh hell yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like we had, so many people have their own little art, their own little things to be able to show, and it would be kind of cool to be able to have a little walkthrough. Maybe somebody could do it preemptively, right? Like walk through and show things, and then send the video, and then they get to explain all these different things that they're looking at or that we're seeing and stuff like that. Because I am fascinated by that stuff. I love to see what people have. I know there's a lot of people out there that they see some of my arcades and they want to know about those, and like just that Pac-Man right there with the front Bally's drop-in coin, it's not the front push. Like some people point that out, they're like, I've been looking for one of those and I can't find one for under $500. Not the machine, just the coin operated part is $500, you know. And so you get to that kind of stuff that you collect, and I'm thinking I've had that Pac-Man for like, gosh, 10 12 years or something like that. I didn't think anything of it. I got it for like $250 because it didn't work. Plugged in a new cord and it worked. There you go, right? And the person that had it didn't care. And I think that's where a lot of that collecting stuff comes from, right? You start getting it because you care about it, but not because everybody else values it so much, right? People want it because of the value. Exactly. And I
found a new segment, Dustin, and there's a new segment for your show, which is the Goonies house tours. So every Goonie that has a collection, you can come in, or you on the camera, you would tour their house.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Even better, I'll get a sponsor that will fly me to somebody's house and I'll record it myself. So, hi, anybody out there willing to give me a job? I'm looking for sponsors to be able to come out and start my own show called Retro Rekker on. I'll go Netflix. We'll go with Netflix. I'll throw it out there right now. Okay, Netflix, if you're looking to pick up somebody new, I take up a lot of space. I do need the aisle that has the security area for the plane because my legs are long, but let's do this. There's not a show out there like that, right? Is there a show out there where you tour people specific? Usually it's just a show that shows like the greatest collector. Yeah, well,
I think there is a show with Blair from Facts of Life where she'll go around and see people's vintage collections of
Blair. She's nobody. I'm somebody.
I'm just saying.
You know what though? That's true though. You know what? I think that would be a kind of a cool show though, to be able to go out there and be able to check out people's homes and those kind of things, kind of like the picker shows, you know, where they make those stops or whatever, and you kind of see that. I find that fascinating, and it's usually shit I don't even care about, right? And I'm like, that's so cool. I don't even know what it is.
That's a bunch of Barbies.
Well, bunch of Barbies. I never liked Barbies before, but now they're pretty neat.
that was one of the cool things about doing the Rube Goldberg and like just being up in Astoria with Damon is like he's such a Goonie at heart. You know, he's not afraid of adventure. He's not afraid to go, just try stuff, right? So we like in the process of trying to track down some of these parts and pieces and try to, make the house as accurate as we could. We ended up at so many little antique stores and just like scrap yards and machine shops. And like, there were just so many little hidden gems up there that I think, if somebody were to go up there as like a picker, oh man, the amount of stuff that's in Astoria is absolutely insane. Between Astoria, Warrenton, and like Cannon Beach area, there's so much old stuff that's just sitting.
There was even stuff that was like relatable to the movie, like the Pirates of the Spanish Main book was like in some of the thrift shops, and then Jay.
I want that so bad.
Jay has that jacket. That sheriff jacket that was like exactly like the one in the movie. Like it's crazy that they have.
Who was it? Who was it, Daryl, that bought the book, that got it down there, and that got it for like $30? Who was that got that? Somebody got that. Yeah, but he just found it down there for like, it was like, because I think it's like $70 or more if you look at it.
Oh wow.
I don't remember who that was. That no, it wasn't Robbie. I don't know.
Because you can get it, because you can get them on like Amazon and stuff, but they range from like $70 to like $100 and something for like, like just the recreated ones. But like somebody found one like down there, just antique shopping. You find the
I have one. I have one of the originals.
All right, give me your address. I'm on my way.
I'm still on the hunt for one that's in a good condition.
I'd take one in a shitty condition.
Well, you can
Just
find
have those. I just need those pages. That's all
like
I need.
thrift, if you go to like thriftbooks.com, I think they have a bunch of different versions of it.
Because I know it was a whole series, wasn't it? Like a historical, like kids, like not kids, but like it was like a history thing. It was like that.
Yeah,
That
there
part.
was
There was like different titles for them.
Yeah, it was a part of like not necessarily a series, but it was like that was just that publisher's like shtick was like focusing on one little topic like that, and it was kind of geared towards kids or young adults.
Oh yeah. Well, hey, you guys, I'm gonna try to shut the show down a little bit here. Try to see if I can keep it under 4 hours. It seems like every show keeps going longer and longer. But I do want to, especially people that come on, I want to keep having the same people on. I still want to have more ideas. And so, Donald, you being a huge part of like, the Goonies house, especially for like recreation and stuff like that. I mean, Darryl, you already know how I feel about you, romance, we're Goonies for like Walt and fuck off. But I'm just joking. Walt, I love you, Walt. But it is. There's everybody has their own little niche and their own little things, and I want to be able to kind of bring that to life on these Mondays where people can actually share and have those things that they enjoy. And man, I just appreciate you guys coming on. I mean, I appreciate that anybody wants to come on, especially like even Mark and stuff that want to come on here and talk, and people want to come in and listen and things like that. I have some people that are like, I just put you in the background and listen, and then when it sounds like somebody's showing something, I just look over, let me see really quick, right? And then they bounce. That's crazy to me that that you can do something that you love and that people respond to that and they enjoy that.
Hey,
I had to look around my phone. I was like, why did the screen just change? I'm like, Johnny must have came in. Look at Johnny the ninja. He's a ninja. He comes in. He didn't even see him coming. What's up, Johnny?
But you've been doing amazing tonight. I just want to make sure you take the time to acknowledge yourself and how well you did for your first show.
Yeah, he was okay.
At best.
There's a lot of pressure when you're doing this stuff by yourself. I think you handled it quite well.
You know what?
The cool
really
thing is there's probably not as much. There's probably not as much pressure when you're hanging out with people you like.
Yeah.
No, and it's easy. Like when Daryl's like saw like one of the questions, and Daryl reads it off. Walt, you did the same. Donald, you coming in and talking about some of the stuff, transitioning into something else. It was just like it does. It makes it a little easier when you're by yourself, especially when you got Mark there. I'm kind of like, Mark, what kind of toilet paper do you use? I don't know. I don't. Sometimes I don't know. And like I said, I need to start writing some shit down because all I have on here for my writing was Mark first, ask questions, look at comments. That's what I had. I didn't get so far into anything else. So everything else that I did was basically reading them off or just on the spot trying to think. And I do better when I'm on the spot, I think. But I do want to bring some structure and some more ideas. So I want to see. I put that out there for everybody in the chat and everybody else as well too. Like if you have ideas, things about tonight that you like, things that you want to see, ideas that you might have. Just reach out to me. Just send me as many friggin' messages as you can. I want to try to put it together and see what we can come up with, And my ideas aren't always the best. They are in my own mind, but not for everybody else. Anybody have any questions for the boys in here right now? Let me put that out there right now before we get off here.
Yes, I am accepting 3-inch by 3-inch artwork for my website, so feel free to contribute. That's totally fine. Tori.
Like Johnny, did you intro yourself in the chat by saying "Here, Johnny"? I just saw that right now as I scroll down.
Yeah,
Mr. Mask on the show.
I've been here the whole time. I'm just sitting off camera for the night.
Oh yes. Do you, Johnny? Do you have the link still that I sent you for Mark's book? The link for the. If not, if anybody that's in the chat wants to, I can also send because I have it on my email. So what I can do is I can also send it. So it'll basically be just to give everybody a rundown. It's going to basically be one email address. That same email address is going to be for the PayPal. And then, so you'll use that to look it up as well. The dollar amount that is in there, I want to say it's somewhere between 35 and 40 bucks, give or take, right? And what that is shipping, cost of book, and you're going to let him know a little bit about what you want to. Yep, there it is. So there you go. It costs $35.75 PayPal. It's going to be to that. $29 for the book, $5.76 for the postage. He doesn't charge for his signature. He doesn't charge for anything else that's in there. Basically, what you're doing is you're just letting him know, like who it's going to be made out to. If you're going to get it for somebody else, the name that you want to put on there, right? Maybe something you want written. Maybe stick away from anything that's multi-sentences, but something little, with love or something, whatever about Goonies. Maybe never say die. Something like that is the examples he gave me. And then basically it's just the information, like shipping, your name, address, and phone number, stuff like that. And he has been really great. I'm waiting in the mail for mine, but he's been really great about reaching back to people and letting them know that, hey, your book's on the way and stuff. So yeah, anyway, that's awesome that he is doing that. So I want to be able to help him out as much as possible. I love that my Etsy site's on there and I want to be able to sell on that, but I also like bringing in, Donald and Michael and having people come in and stuff. There you go. Goonies, droids, and killer whales. Oh, see, that's awesome.
True, yeah. I can't read the best. My eyesight sucks.
Yeah, see, that's awesome. And I don't know, Mark to me is, he's the backbone of the industry and the part that you don't see. And like he said, not getting his, being able to get his name on something, but not expecting it, it's just really cool.
Yeah.
Back to the Future. Oh, I had a bunch of, that was the other thing too, is I was going to, I even put up my license plates because I was going to talk a little bit. So maybe I'll start next week. That'll be the transition from the Goonies. And then next week, because if people don't know, this month, this is the 40th anniversary for Back to the Future. So we got to pay some homage to that. That's also a great movie. And maybe we'll find some, Daryl, I'm going to put this one on you too, and myself. We'll get together before next Monday, and we'll get some fun facts about Back to the Future, behind the scenes kind of stuff, kind of look into some things that we can tell people about. And then also, if anybody's out there that is in the chat, watching, after the fact, reach out to me with your ideas, but also reach out to me if you want to come on the show. If there's something you want to promote, if there's something you just want to talk about, if you just want to ask a question in person, do that. The more faces we see, coming in and out, you might not be able to sit in here with me for like an hour long, but at least get you in for a couple of minutes and be able to do that. Have some fun with it. I think that's the biggest part about these podcasts is that everybody's in the chat and you want your question to be read to that person that you're talking to. But I think being able just to get on and introduce yourself. Hi, who are you? And what do you want to ask? And, what are you talking? I think that would be kind of fun to do. And I don't think Mark Marshall's going to be the end. I'm gonna reach out to some more feelers out there and try to see what we can do. I love how Walt just put his kid on the spot. He was like, "What is going on?"
Yeah.
And somebody's at my door too. And I don't know. That was not the bell. That was not the bell of the. That's kind of funny though, because I never get it. Should I just say come in and see if they just walk up? sorry, FedEx guy. I didn't mean to. But yes, so I want to thank you guys for coming on. And next week, I want to try to regulate it as good as I can for the show structure and have some more fun with it.
Oh, I think you did awesome.
Well, thank you.
As your producer,
Yeah,
Dustin, you
now
did
every
awesome.
time I see you, Johnny, when you say something, I just want to go, thank you, Johnny.
you keep your producer busy tonight. I run the show tomorrow night, so everyone can come hang out with me tomorrow night if they want. But I'll back out and let you say your goodbyes.
Oh yeah, I gotta say my goodbyes. Whoa, it's dark. So, gentlemen, I really appreciate you guys coming on. And yeah, I don't even know what a goodbye is. Okay, Johnny, I'll cut their feeds and I'll say goodbye. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. What am I supposed to do right there? So, bye, Walt. Bye. There we go. Finally, get those fuckers out of here. Just joking. I'll say a personal thank you to Johnny for letting me do this solo. I technically didn't know I was going to go solo until Johnny told me I was going to go solo. So I appreciate him pushing me out there out of my comfort zone to do something like this. Ultimately, I just want to thank everybody that's in here. I want to thank everybody that came on. I want to thank Johnny. I want to thank the Basement Show. I want to thank everybody else that is a part of the Basement Show as well. I want you guys to follow the Basement Show. I want you to follow me. I want you to share, and I want you to do it because I think that we don't care about other people's well-being enough. I think when somebody reaches out and tries to do something that they care about, I think it's really easy to just kind of ignore it and not get out of your own comfort zone. I used to never share anything on my Facebook. I didn't care. Now, if somebody sends something to me, share it. Why? Because you're helping somebody out, right? It's like if there's somebody on the side of the road that needs a ride, to go down the street or something. Okay, cool. You might not want to do that. You might give them $5, might help them out. Sometimes they just need somebody to talk to. There's so many times I've just talked to people that are homeless, and I think they just respond to that, right? Your friends, your family, the people that you love and you care about. That's why we do this, right? That's why we're Goonies. It's all about family. That's why I'm doing this, because I want more people to be here and to, be a part of this with me. I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with all my friends and all the people that I've met and stuff. So I really appreciate you guys. And maybe I'm just stalling because I don't want to get off, but I will say goodbye for now. And thank you, John, again.
Well, that's like what we say also in the Basement Show, like not even just the Goonies, but if you feel alone, reach out to any one of us. We'll talk. 988. Just the number you see going across the bottom. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. You're not alone. I mean, I'm going to teach you the proper closeout for the Basement Show with all the fun stuff we do, because there's a lot here on the Basement Show that people may not know that exist. So yeah, you might only see Dustin on Monday nights, but you got myself on Tuesday night. You have an awesome ladies night on Wednesday night. You have an Apple Web Grimm show on Friday nights. So there is so much that this Basement Show has to offer that I hope more people come in and check out all the other shows we do. Because it is a lot to put these shows on every single night. But as we always say, you watching these help us do what we do. Without people in chat chatting up all night, the Basement Show does not exist.
Yep. Exactly, right? I love it.
That's pretty much all I really got. But I mean, it's been fun. This is definitely a really cool idea. Doing the whole retro thing, going back in time. Like I said, taking it back a few years. So you feel old after you do it, but you know what? It's passion. It's all about having fun.
Well, and isn't it? It's crazy. Something, these movies, these things that we take with us from the 80s, these, Donald, being, you were an infant during the 80s, right? Donald wasn't even born in the 80s yet. Some of us were born in the 70s. And so this was our childhood. Then there's the kids of what we grew up in. They learn, my kids learn, people learn, they love that kind of stuff. And it keeps transitioning. You don't have that with any other generation. People are remaking 80s movies. Why? Because they were the greatest fucking movies, right? And so I think it's just awesome that you have given this platform to be able to talk more about those things that I love. And like you said, you get on with the ladies, right? On Wednesday, you have Grimm. On Friday, you have you coming in tomorrow. You have all these different outlets for people to be able to see things they like, talk about stuff, and help, like you said, it's the people, right? To help us grow, to help us do something. You come in because you like the content, yeah, but you don't have to just watch the content, be a part of it, Mario finally made it. Mario, next time we'll try to have you come on for some stories maybe next week or something like that. And that's the other thing too, is Daryl coming on. He's been on, every night that, we've done this for the Monday nights and stuff, and it's been great to be able to do that. So thank you guys all so much. How do you normally close these out? Johnny, how do you know?
Well, I got to redo the closeout video, but we do have a closeout video that I will have back up Monday morning, including Dustin's show, everybody's show. Perfect. But we usually try to acknowledge everybody in chat, but it's so hard to go through and say,
oh, yeah.
But like, we had Dana, Donald, Amber just stopping in, AC, Gail, Shout out to Beach Bum Laser Designs. They do an amazing job out in Canada.
And Beach Bum Laser Designs, you check your Facebook messages because I did reach out to you and I tried to get you in here, but we'll get you in here next week too because I want to be able to promote whatever you're doing when it comes to the giveaway stuff, it comes to the product, stuff like that. I mean, I found my magnet down there and so I just, want to try to help everybody out. That's why I didn't have anybody reaching out to me to go, hey, do you, can you promote my Etsy shop? Like I reached out to Michael and asked him if he wanted to come on the show. Like I had talked to Donald before about some things and then wanted to bring him in too. So this isn't, if there's something that you have, bring it to me. This is just stuff that I'm trying to think in my head. It looks like a big head, but I forget shit real easy.
Mario Dell is in chat. We have my friend Jackie who is in here. Becky Athens Kendrick, Stephanie P. O'Sheriff. I know Grim was here. I saw Miss Grim stop by, your spirit animal, even though he didn't join us in the studio tonight. Dave was in chat. Walt was in chat. I mean, you had so many Tori tonight. Heather Benedict. It's just amazing the amount of love that we're getting on all these shows as of late. You guys are the MVPs.
Mm-hmm. There's one that you guys, everybody's what's making it happen. I mean, technically this would just be a video chat if you and I were just talking, Johnny.
Yep.
Bayman has not made an appearance yet, but he has reached out because he has some things that he has going on. So it's been more so just a timing thing to try to get that. But let's see. Hold on. Let me check my chat because I don't want to get it wrong. So the last thing he said to me was, so he says, let's see. Said, I was just seeing this. It's great to see you guys. He was in the chat. Maybe that he could be on the podcast here in the future. He said it was great to finally meet me at the 40th. Brother and little Goonie flag and house fist bump.
Yep.
And so I reached out to him a couple times just to see if he wanted to come on. And then when I went back down to Astoria, he just let me know that he wasn't in town during the time. And the last one was, when it slows down this summer. I think we'll try to get Bayman in here, right? We'll try to get him in here. Try to talk a little bit his experiences, but also we'll try to get his stories, how the whole thing came together. It'll be a pre-Goonies 40th, right? Because he had a lot going on trying to get this put together by the 40th, and a lot of people have said this probably isn't going to happen, and he made it happen. So I think that would be amazing. So
Beach Bum's asking a few more prizes to post. Want to do a drawing live on here, so you can reach out to them and talk to them. Gail saying she has bandanas and blankets I can raffle off.
100%. I want to do that. Let's have you on. We'll do the live drawing. We'll promote it out there, and everybody making sure that they got their QR codes and their numbers for their Beach Bum Laser Designs. I love it. Let's do that. Definitely. Oh, there you go. I will never betray my Goondock friends. We will stick together until the whole world ends. Through heaven and hell and nuclear war, good pals like us will stick like tar. In the city or the country or the forest or the boonies, I am proudly declared a fellow Goonie. Thank you for that, Donald.
Great way to end
it. That is awesome. That's a great way to end it. I love you guys all. Thank you guys for chiming in. Thank you guys for the support and the kind words and helping out one of the many basement shows that we have on the mix. So awesome.
Live Monday, 8 o'clock. Don't be late.
Check out the ending.
She told me her name was Billie Jean as she crossed the scene, and every head turned with eyes that dreamed of being the one. We would dance on the floor and around. People always told me, be careful what you do. Don't go around breaking young girls' hearts. A mother always told me, be what you do.